Hey guys, so today I'm going to do another ranking video. This is going to be my top 50 horror games that I played on my channel. So yeah, I'm going through a list of 50 games, and of course I played thousands of games on my channel, so should be pretty interesting. So let's check it out. And these are all going to be different kinds of horror games. Of course, horror games can be also other genres as well. Could be point and click adventure, could be like almost like an adventure game. I mean, I think a horror games is a type of adventure game for me. Could be a type of RPG as well. Could be yeah, open world, like Death Stranding, for example. So all different types of horror games could also be other genres. So you might see some of these games in other genres as well. But as long as they have some aspect of horror in it, I think that it qualifies for this video. So yeah, stay tuned. Okay, so I'm going to start off with an honorable mention, as I usually do when I make these kind of ranking videos, and it's going to be Corpse Party, and this is a remastered version that came out in 2021. Yeah, so I believe the original Corpse Party game, yeah, it came out for 3DS. Actually, I remember playing the original for 3DS.
Yeah, it must be that charm.
But yeah, this remaster came out for PC, and so that's the video I'm playing here. But it looks kind of cute-ish, actually. I know the sprites and everything are like these small sprites that are kind of like 16-bit style. So I know it looks kind of cute, and you control like these Japanese schoolgirls, right, in this type of setting. And yeah, it almost like plays kind of like a visual novel, and I think there was a visual novel related to Corpse Party as well, which I played on PSP. But yeah, the original Corpse Party is kind of like, it plays like this with all these like cute-looking Japanese high school characters, and but there is definitely a horror aspect to it. I mean, it is a horror game, so even though they look cutesy, they're still inside this haunted school, right? So you still do see like creepy stuff going on in this game. So I see like blood splatters, and eventually you'll run into yeah, you'll definitely run into like monsters and like just creepy stuff. So I think it deserves an honorable mention. Didn't quite make my list because, you know, a lot of great horror games that I played. But yeah, actually let me, yeah, so this, for example, this little the creepy voice that comes after me, and also the shadow.
There's no way
is following her.
There's no way out.
Yeah, so like these parts are like actually kind of scary. So yeah, like those little shadow following me here. So anyways, yeah, Corpse Party Remaster is going to be my honorable mention here. So I know the characters look pretty cutesy, but there definitely is a horror aspect. Like, yeah, you'll have monsters and stuff chasing you like in this part here. Alright, so number 50 is Strangeland. This is a psychological horror point-and-click adventure game. Yeah, definitely. I find that the aesthetic, the art of this game is definitely got some grotesque kind of aesthetic to it. Kind of reminds me of Scorn, actually, which is another game that yeah, definitely has this kind of grotesque aesthetic. But this one I like too, as both a point-and-click adventure and a psychological horror one. Yeah, like you're in this kind of dream world, I guess, but it's a kind of a nightmare dream world, and yeah, it just looks really creepy. Like you have this yeah, like you have this creepy talking clown gate that always makes he always says something different, but that's kind of creepy. Just basically everything you interact with is kind of creepy looking. So yeah, definitely it's weird. Definitely a weird game. So and that's, you know, part of the charm. I think the part of it is just the grotesque art style. And yeah, just the weirdness of this game, which is, you know, part of psychological horror, I think. So as far as psychological point and clicks, definitely if you guys are interested in those, like Sanitarium, for example, which is going to be higher on this list. Yeah, if you're interested in those kind of point and click adventures, like horror point and click adventures, check out Strangeland. Yeah, I think it's definitely right up there. So anyways, let's start off the list with Strangeland, because it's definitely got the aesthetic and art for it.
Make me Ash.
And also the kind of
so I died again.
About it. Yeah. Okay, so we have another point-and-click horror adventure game for number 49, which is Dreams in the Witch House. This one came out fairly recently. Yeah, another indie horror point-and-click adventure game, and yeah, it's basically about this guy who, well, it's got actually Lovecraftian influences, I believe, as well. Yeah, so I believe basically you're a professor, and you're renting this house, and just like every night, you know, you go to sleep, and then creepier and creepier things start happening in the world. So yeah, definitely, if you guys, again, if you're interested in the horror, psychological horror point-and-click adventures, it's another one to check out. Kind of enjoyed my time playing this one again a lot as well. I do like the amount of content in this game, like all the different book selections. Actually, you can check out each of these file cabinets, and they actually do contain some of the contents of these different books and stuff that you're finding. Of course, gradually the map will open up.
Some creepy things at night again?
Yeah, so every time you go home and you sleep at night, there's some strange stuff that might happen. And yeah, also being a point and click, right? You have to do some puzzle solving as well. So anyways, I like the gradual build up in this game. It starts off fairly innocuous, but then yeah, it ends up like weirder and creepier stuff starts happening. Like I think he gets sick actually as well. Yeah, you gotta like take medicine and stuff. So I mean, this could also be in my list, my point and click adventure game list, of course, as well, because it is, you know, a point and click as well as a horror game.
The rat just came out.
So look at this, right? This rat comes out and looks like a demon rat.
What the heck? The rat just came out.
Yeah, so that was definitely kind of creepy. And I think the next night when I sleep, that rat just comes right into my bed, I think. So I think it's is it here?
No. Hold on.
No, it might be the next night's sleep. Let's see.
Damn rats.
I know there was definitely like I went to sleep one night and it was like
Still exhausted.
really creepy. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
See, the gnat just comes right into my bed and just bites me.
Rat. Oh my god. Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
That hit me. What the hell?
So yeah, definitely gets creepier and creepier as you play it. So anyways, Dreams in the Witch House. Yeah. Yeah, you start to lose sanity, and I guess the more sanity that you lose, the more creepy stuff starts happening to you. Alright, so 48 is a point-and-click adventure horror game called Shivers 2. So both Shivers and Shivers 2 are nice horror point-and-click adventure games played from the first-person perspective, kind of like Myst.
$5
But I think I liked playing Shivers 2. Actually, I played Shivers 2 a bit more. So you start off in this this motel here. And yeah, basically, yeah, just weird stuff happens, you know. So when it comes to these type of 90s
kicked me out of the office.
horror point and clicks, that's how it is sometimes.
Very
right?
strange. Yeah. Tell me don't stay in there. Go back to the motel.
So it looks like, yeah, I'm just looking around the motel here, but then eventually, yeah, you just basically see creepier and creepier things as you like go along, right? You investigate murders and stuff.
Missing person after
Missing report, Jason Dunlop. So you're investigating all these like murders and stuff.
Okay, I have no idea.
Of course, this being a point-and-click adventure, you got to solve puzzles as well. And then you see like these spirits and stuff.
Nobody ever listens to me. They just watch that TV.
Oh yeah, this is what happens, I think, when you try to watch the TV or something. I think here I enter a room with kind of like creepy artwork here. Yeah, that's definitely weird.
Can I go in there?
I think those are the developers actually in that picture. But yeah, you see this creepy image here again.
Oh.
They all come here, you know. But only he knows.
Oh, this is the girl that was
where
murdered.
she
That's
is.
right. So you see her spirit here.
This is that.
Your life
talk to
essence
her.
is already disappearing. But the Bauhaus is the only thing that can protect you.
Yeah, see, and you go to this like creepy canyon area as well. This is definitely pretty creepy. And you hear like this banging and stuff. I don't know what that's from.
Before you go there, you must find the petroglyph that will awaken the.
Yeah.
Okay. Me too.
I think I end up dying here actually. Let's see, how did I die?
I'm dead. I got no health left.
Oh, okay, I was losing health in this cavern, that's right. Okay,
I
anyways.
don't know which symbol it is.
Shivers
so.
2, first person 90s point and click horror game. So you gotta solve
Okay,
puzzles,
look at
but also there's weird murders and stuff that you gotta figure out as well. Yeah, definitely worth checking out as well. Trying to investigate these missing people. Alright, so 47, another first-person horror point-and-click is Scratches, and yeah, I think this is kind of like a cult classic horror game. It's actually even got a sequel called Asylum, I think, that came out this year. But yeah, the original Scratches, again, this is one of those games that feels just kind of like something's off, you know? You're in this haunted house, kind of a classic setting here. We always feel like something's gonna happen, right? And even though there isn't like too many monsters and stuff like that, it's the psychological vibe. So yeah, you feel like something weird's gonna happen, something crazy's gonna happen, someone's watching you, you know, just kind of that kind of feeling. So I think that's the psychological horror aspect that Scratches gives you. So
the music starts again.
You know, these are the type of things I think makes a good horror game, is that it makes you feel scared without actually like. There's horror games that are obviously like they're trying to push monsters in your face and jump scare you and stuff like that, right? But for these kind of psychological horrors, where the developer of these games make you feel scared without actually presenting you with a monster or anything like that, and that takes skill, I think. So you always got to appreciate games like Scratches, where it's not like immediately obvious that there's you know, something here, but it feels disturbing, and it feels like someone's watching you, someone's behind you, right? It's this atmosphere that it creates. So I always gotta give props to horror games like this, right? It manages to make you feel scared without something actually being there. So yeah, I think that's always a sign of like. That's a great design, you know, for a horror game. I think that's a sign of great design, is that it makes you feel scared without actually presenting something there.
Michael, it's me.
Yeah. So anyway, Scratches. If you guys haven't played it, actually I'm not sure if there's. Maybe it's an official way to get it right now, but anyways, yeah, there is a director's cut, I believe. It might actually not be available on Steam, but yeah, I remember it's definitely out there online if you can find, like, maybe it's Abandonware. Yeah, but anyways, highly recommend it for those guys into these atmospheric horror games. Okay, so 46 is The Park. So this is I think this came out around 10 years ago. Basically, you're trying to find your son, who of course after this amusement park closes, and your son is ran back in after closing hours, and of course you find all these sorts of weird things happening in the park after hours. So I do like the setting a lot. I mean, haunted house is like a very typical horror setting, but I also think the theme of a haunted amusement park being pretty nice as well, right? So I think it looks like I'm riding this ride, which shouldn't actually be possible, because I don't think the park operators are even working right now. This is like after hours, right? I shouldn't even be able to ride this ride, but somehow I'm riding this ride, and then it goes faster and faster, right? And then you see this creepy thing there, right? You see that creepy thing here? Yeah.
Oh my god, there's a monster there.
Yeah, there's a monster that had just appeared, and then it's not there anymore. So it's again more psychological. Again, it's like, yeah, like the monster doesn't just like appear and try to scare you outright, but it will be there, and then because of that, it's still pretty creepy. Yeah, I think this one is taking a ride here. Yeah, so anyways, I do like the setting. I like the setting of a haunted amusement park. And then, yeah, just haunted amusement park, and then the psychological horror aspect, right? Oh. Dang, like what was happening there? Definitely some creepy stuff is happening in this park after hours. So anyways, I think it's a great environment actually for a horror game. Yeah. Other than was a Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, I think amusement park is a great setting for a horror game. So this is a good one, the park, for that setting. If you're interested in this kind of amusement park setting, check it out. Okay, so number 45 is Call of Cthulhu. This is the 2018 version. So Call of Cthulhu has been a franchise with definitely a couple of games in it. there's a point-and-click adventure Call of Cthulhu games for DOS, which I played before, like Shadow the Comet. And those are pretty good. Prisoner of Ice, those are pretty good as well. Of course, for graphical fidelity, this is the latest Call of Cthulhu game came out, the 2018 version. And yeah, I mean, obviously Lovecraftian inspired, because Cthulhu is part of the Lovecraftian mythos, right? It's yeah, anything involving Cthulhu, you already know Lovecraft is involved. So yeah, I mean, if you guys looking for a nice Call of Cthulhu game, there's definitely a couple. I think Dark Corners of the Earth is another one I played, 2005. But yeah, definitely in terms of graphical fidelity, 2018 is the best one, and has a good sense of atmosphere as well. So I think this one probably doesn't get talked about. Like Call of Cthulhu doesn't get talked about too much as a horror series, even though there's several entries in the series. But probably because they're not on the same level as like Dead Space or Silent Hill or Resident Evil, but or even Alone in the Dark or those kind of games. But I think, yeah, definitely out of the Call of Cthulhu series, there's they're generally pretty good. Yeah, so here, I think you're just trying to get some clues to get into this abandoned warehouse here at the beginning of the game. So anyways, there's nothing like outright scary that happens at the beginning of the game, because the pacing's kind of slow in this game. But other than the slow pacing, I think the atmosphere is just about right. I mean, look at the tone of this game, right? When you tell it's yeah, it's got that Lovecraftian tone to it. So anyways, if you guys are interested in Call of Cthulhu, I think all the Call of Cthulhu games are decent. The 2 point-and-click adventures were pretty decent. Yeah, and I think they were by, was it by Interplay or Microprose? But anyways, yeah, the 2 point-and-click adventures for DOS, and then the 2005 one and this one, they're all pretty good. So yeah, if you're interested in Lovecraftian mythos, check them out. All right, so number 44 is My Side, or Me Side, which is a pretty cool horror game because it's so unconventional. I think I talked about this in my favorite indie games video as well. But yeah, I do like the fact that in this game is not a typical horror game. Basically, like you play as this character sucked into this mobile app. You're supposed to satisfy this girl here.
Jeez, what a narcissist.
And then you find later on that she becomes more and more crazy and psycho and obsessive each time you play through this. So yeah, definitely
In VR. Because now it reminds me of VR Kanojo, kind of.
yeah. So as you play this game, it becomes
person.
more and more creepy,
Might as well be in
basically.
VR, right?
So yeah, at the beginning it doesn't seem like it, right? It just seems like something kind of cutesy, right? You meet this girl, and
Smartphone.
at the beginning it seems like, oh yeah, it's nice that you have this like virtual girlfriend, right? But as the game goes on, it gets more and more creepy and psycho. It kind of reminds me of Doki Doki Literature Club in that sense, right? It starts off like, yeah, very nice and innocent, and then it gets more and more crazier as it goes on. So anyways, Me Side I think deserves a look. It's definitely unconventional for when it comes to horror games. But worth it if you're looking for something a little bit different. Yeah,
like that.
it's like it looks
Yeah, 'cause
kind of
Doki
cutesy,
Doki
but then it
Literature
becomes more and more horror
does stories
vibes.
like that.
So it's kind of like World End
actual data
Syndrome
from
or
big
Doki
files
Doki
will be
Literature Club, where it starts off
start
cutesy, like it starts
a
off
game,
slice of
start a
life,
new
and then
game,
it becomes more and more horror as the game goes on.
All
Alright, so number 43, I'm going to go with Darkfall, which is another first-person point-and-click horror title. Done in sort of a 90s style, even though it's not a 90s game, it's a 90s style point-and-click. So it's like first-person, you click into stuff, and it's like Myst style, basically. Slideshows and FMVs and stuff. But yeah, I enjoyed playing this one. You're guided by the voice of, I think it's like a spirit of a boy, basically, that was lost in this like mine shaft. And yeah, and you start to find some crazy stuff. Like basically, this is supposed to be set. Yeah, this is supposed to be set a long time ago, like maybe in the 40s, I think. But then you find like this Nokia phone here. Like I found this Nokia phone, which is very out of place considering this game is supposed to be set in like the 1940s.
That's when this game takes place in, right?
Yeah, you're supposed to be set in 1940s, and you find some weird out of
This also should not exist.
yeah anachronistic stuff like
Yeah, this is a
PDAs
PDA.
and Nokia phones and stuff. So that's really kind of odd. Right, everything else about this game is like it's supposed to be set in 1940s, but you find that. Then you go into like these this abandoned like motel, I think, and you yeah, you see all the nobody's there, right? But you see creepy stuff that happens basically. Yeah, like this creepy thing that starts happening. It's an FMV sequence, but you hear some creepy voices, and this is another one of those psychological horrors, right? Where you don't like actually see something, a monster or anything, but just creepy stuff starts happening, right? The lights start flickering and stuff, so it's the whole psychological horror thing again. And you know, I always appreciate games like this that scare you without having a monster on the screen. Just yeah, it's just psychological horror, right? It makes you like just scare you in your mind, right? So. Anyways, I think Darkfall is pretty cool in that sense. Yeah, this motel is honestly pretty creepy, and you do see some weird stuff that starts happening. You start investigating all the former inhabitants of this motel, right?
Different
Yeah.
ingredients.
Anyways, this started a trilogy of games, but I think I like the original still the best. So, anyways, Darkfall 1. It's another one of those games that's just like Shivers, I guess, and some of these other games of the era. It's in Scratches. It's about the atmosphere, yeah, from the first-person perspective.
What is an
Right. So number 42, I'm gonna go with D. Yeah, the name of the game is just called D. So this is a 1995 PS1 title, and I think this was actually pretty cool for the time. I mean, for PS1, it actually plays more like a point and click type of title for PC. It almost plays like that, right? Yeah, it's almost played like a game like The Seventh Guest, for example, right? It reminds me of Seventh Guest, those type of titles, where it's like it's from a first-person perspective. You got FMV videos and stuff going on, but you also do see this main character, Laura.
what?
Who is actually in a series of other games as well.
Or what's in this room? Oh,
She was
What
in
is this
D2 and also
oh, there's another room.
I think this other Saturn game as well.
It's
But
like
anyways, yeah, I think D is the one where everyone knows this girl from. Yeah, so I think this game was pretty cool for the time. I know like
Oh, she doesn't want to. Okay.
yeah, this
back.
creepy booby trap thing there. Yep. So you control this girl Laura in this type of haunted castle or mansion place, and yeah, weird stuff, creepy stuff starts happening. So yeah, I know it's also again a bit slow paced, but still worth it. I think if you want to check out another one of those psychological titles. Again, you don't really see any monsters on the screen here, but you always feel like something crazy is going to happen, right? Yeah, you start to see some weird stuff happening. Like this guy
Game has
here,
darkness in the title.
something happened to him.
Oh, right.
Right.
Anything in there was a.
So that was kind of creepy. And then yeah, just from the FMV sequences,
Alright.
you can see like weird stuff start happening.
What else can I do?
Yeah. Anyways, just a cool PS1 title because it reminds me of
What
Seventh
else can
Guest
I
and
do?
yeah, those type of PC first-person horror point-and-click titles. Except this is for PS1. You don't really see too much of this style on the PS1, so I think this was pretty innovative for the time. All right, so number 41, I'll go with Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. Actually, I'm playing the Plus version, which is actually the paid version. Originally, it was free. Yeah, this seems fairly innocuous, right? Seems like a typical dating sim, visual novel type of game. And World End Syndrome, by the way, is another game that functions quite similarly to Doki Doki. But yeah, basically at the beginning of the game, you know, you just start to, it's like a dating sim, essentially. And then you try to, you're invited into the literature club, you get to know these girls and stuff. But what eventually happening is actually something that's really weird and creepy. So you get to play through this, and then basically you'll play through this once, and then once you keep playing it, just basically crazy shit starts happening. So yeah, you get to know these girls at first. Okay, it's like a typical dating sim, but then once you go to the end, right? See what starts happening, and then yeah, see when the main character hangs herself, right? And then after this happens, this is like at the end of the first playthrough. After this happens, weird and weirder, creepier stuff starts happening because your file gets corrupted, I think, and then yeah, just people don't remember her, and like yeah, just weird stuff starts happening in the game. So it takes a twist, you know. So I think World End Syndrome was pretty similar to this as well, but basically starts off as a dating sim and then takes a twist into creepiness. And this is you see her sprite here is actually messed up because of what happened here. So yeah, it actually like messes with the game itself. You actually have to go into the game files, and there's weird stuff happening in the game files as well.
Something interesting.
So yeah, some weird stuff happening even in the game files itself.
But yeah,
so very interesting concept. So yeah, I think Doki Doki Literature Club just for that twist, right? It's very interesting. Alright, so number 40 I'm going with Harvester. It's a point-and-click horror title that came out in 1996. Yeah, so it uses digitized sprites, which is a very common thing when you're talking about yeah, 90s, some of these 90s titles. But yeah, it's a very interesting game. I had this in my all-time point-and-click adventure ranking games as well. But I really like playing this game. Yeah. So you play as this guy who basically got sent back in time to the 1950s, but something's very off in this town. Right? You'll quickly learn that something's very weird going on in this seemingly idyllic 1950s town. So you see, like, basically things are being controlled by a cult. It has a lot of graphical violence inside of this game. So yeah, so it's weird. This guy's half of his body's stuck inside the ground here. Yeah, so there's weird stuff happening in this game.
Take me a nice vacation.
Yeah, so definitely weird stuff. See this cult-like figure right here?
Hotel, I do more than my
very creepy.
Supermarkets, but to buzz and rustle on their own, the most relentless of insects.
Oh, that's creepy.
Sitcom.
Yeah, definitely something very disturbing when you look at this seemingly idyllic 1950s town. And then you have sequences like this. Yep. So I think it's overall just very interesting point-and-click adventure or horror title to play, right? Because you play as you got time travel going on, you got psychological horror, sci-fi stuff going on here. So all in all, it's a very interesting game to play, right? Yeah, and also the 1950s Leave It to Beaver type setting with weird stuff happening as well. So it's one of those idyllic but disturbing type of titles. So I think it's trying to contrast it, right? You have this seemingly idyllic 1950s town, but then you have weird cult stuff happening, graphical violence in this game that happens. So anyways, pretty interesting gameplay. Right, number 39, another horror point-and-click title from the 90s, Darkseid. And actually, it came out originally in 92. I'm playing the 95 Japanese PS1 version, because I guess this was easier for me to run at the time. So yeah, another very weird title. Actually, the artwork and everything was directly influenced by H.R. Geiger. In fact, H.R. Geiger
it was a nightmare if
let them use a lot of his artworks in this game. Right. So you start off the game actually. If you look even at the beginning of this game, it's
is getting probed by an alien, and then wow, the alien shot something into his brain.
Yeah, so it's
shield thing.
Basically, you had to take the medicine, and you get your headaches because actually there was an alien embryo implanted inside your brain. So yeah, even like the limited color in this game, which they were forced to use because it was in order to increase the resolution of this game, they had to reduce the amount of color. That's because H.R. Geiger wanted it to be high resolution. But even the color here, it looks just drab, right? But the drab color just adds to the aesthetic of this game, in my opinion. It makes it look more, even more creepy, actually. So. Combined with the music in this game, the unsettling atmosphere, it actually reminds me of Harvester in many ways. So I think Harvester and Darkseid are pretty much the same tier. Both
which I can't even access because I don't know how to access
point-and-click horror adventure titles from the 90s, I'd say. So, anyways, I enjoyed playing through this one as well. I know there's two Darkseid games. I enjoyed the first one slightly more. Yeah, both of them are nice games. I enjoyed the first one slightly more though. So, anyways, Darkseid 1. Check it out.
Can I do anything with here?
I would say, since they're kind of abandoned where The first one would probably be easier to play, just because it has this PS1
Okay, so I can't do
version.
anything with it,
That's
looks like.
I guess easier to run.
Since I can only turn it on and off.
The DOS version, maybe.
And
All right, so for 38, I have Incantation, kind of a recent game that came out. You can tell the graphics are pretty good, right, in this one. Basically, it takes place in Taiwan, I believe, in the Taiwanese countryside, and this one has more of a, let's say, more noticeable horror element in it, because it's one of those ones where you eventually see a crazy character that tries to kill you. So, yeah, but yeah, the atmosphere, it's got that, right? Like, I do like the setting, right? You're in this Taiwanese village here, and weird stuff happens, right? Well, yeah, you see this kind of crazy guy here. Yeah. Yeah, so this guy is the guy that ends up trying to murder you. Yeah. This crazy shaman type of character. I don't know, he tries to go after you and stuff. You gotta run away from him. There's this crazy woman here who's like looking for her children or something. Yeah, waiting for her children. Yeah. And this is weird as well, this area, because these mannequins move by themselves. Like, you'd go into another room, you come back, and they change positions. That's really creepy right there. Yeah, so these mannequins eventually change positions. See?
both moving closer.
See, they're trying to they're trying to move and kill you.
Move closer.
That's really scary. And then this guy here is crazy. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, this one is more like, obviously there's something crazy going on. The mannequins are trying to move towards you. Every time you do an action.
Mannequins is sure creepy. That's for sure.
Yeah. Some crazy stuff happening in this one. So, anyways, this one is more of an upfront horror aspect to it, but it's also got very atmospheric as well. So I do like it. All right, so this is 37. I have the Bathhouse, another pretty recent one. You can tell the graphics are pretty good in this one too. These games are actually all really like indie games that are pretty cheap to buy and play. So they're not like big budget games or anything like that. But I think they're done pretty well actually. Pretty well getting the horror aspect in, and yeah, you're making the characters look pretty creepy, like this guy here. So you start off just playing, yeah, you start off just playing a person in charge of this Japanese hot spring, actually. So you have some like tedious tasks that you gotta do, cleaning the bathhouse, right, and everything. So it doesn't seem like a horror game, but actually like you do have weird stuff that happens. I mean, just actually look at these characters, right? They look really creepy to begin with. They look quite creepy actually. I think that's probably done intentionally for them to look that creepy.
Looks like my Korean friend actually.
Yeah, all these characters look really creepy. Maybe just the way that they're modeled. Yeah, but yeah, you're in charge of doing all this stuff, but then there's the bathhouse is like haunted, right? And eventually you see weirder and weirder shit that starts happening. Yeah.
There's a guy walking there.
Yeah, weirder and weirder stuff starts happening. Creepier stuff starts happening. This girl looks really creepy. Yeah, I mean, look at her eyes, man. They look so soulless.
What is this thing?
I think she eventually comes in as a customer. Right?
That's creepy.
I think she eventually comes in as a customer, so you see her here. Oh man, her eyes give me the creeps.
Shaver towel body wash.
Yeah.
She's creepy though.
But I think, let's see. Yeah, there's definitely some weird stuff that happens in here.
Yeah.
I think there's one involving,
Emma Horai. Here to treat the beautiful Emma Chi. Okay, this guy touched my butt.
yeah, where's the... I know there's some creepy stuff that was happening here eventually with the monkeys, I think.
Out, mister.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, there's like monkeys here, like... This is weird, right? Yeah, there's somebody, they murdered this character here.
What happened?
Yeah, that's creepy. Yeah. So definitely, there's weird stuff that happens, right, while you're working at this bathhouse. So that's pretty creepy. All right, so number 36 is Psychroma, and this is another indie horror title here. Plays more like, yeah, like a 2D point-and-click title, but it is actually a horror title, and I enjoyed playing this one as well. It's set in some kind of cyberpunk-looking future. So the setting's pretty cool. But also, yeah, eventually you'll find out you're in this, like,
What the heck?
basically this apartment complex, but you'll find that some strange stuff is going on. Also, yeah, you yourself, and I think everyone else just looks weird. I mean, I guess they're humans, but they don't really look like really that human
the
to me.
medication would be in
So
the bathroom,
yeah, I do
right?
like the colorful graphics and the
It's not.
cyberpunk type of vibe to it as well, though.
Yeah, I guess
Having
it
a
has to be the
cyberpunk
basement,
horror
right?
game is a pretty cool idea.
creepy basement.
But yeah, eventually you see like,
go to your room.
yeah, you gotta turn the lights on and
the heck?
everything, and these people are kind of all
Weird
drawn like kind of creepy way as well. So let's see. Yeah, eventually you will see like, you know, crazier things start happening as well.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy.
Yeah, even my character definitely looks kind of weird. Oh, that woman's in a wheelchair. Yeah, I know this. Something crazy happens to that woman, right? That old elderly woman.
Yeah.
Find some secret passages.
Can't do that until I find the wire in the power cell. Where do I get that from?
Oh, this part here. What the heck's this part? Oh, because I was looking at the sink, because everything's covered in blood here.
No,
It's like a
still
freaking
looking,
eyeball
nothing.
here in the pan. Yeah, everything's like covered in blood here. Like, what the heck's going on there, right?
That's it? Okay, never mind. Oh
Yeah.
shit.
You see that girl
Okay,
dragging
never
away
mind.
like a dead body. Yeah. There's definitely a weirder and crazier stuff that happens as you play as you play this game. So it gets more and more deeper, right? More interesting. Yeah, here's eyeball in the pan there, and
Eyeball here. Video game, I know horror video
Yeah.
game, don't you?
so definitely creepier
Fucking
stuff will
trouble.
they eventually start happening more and more in this game. But I do like the aesthetic of this game.
Of course the light switches.
And
are working.
yeah,
Yep.
going through the different floors and then checking to see what's going on, and
When
eventually the mysteries, right, that happen in this game, the creepier vibes that will eventually start happening more and more as you keep
No,
playing.
it's got to
So,
be the room
enjoy
that
playing
was
this one.
locked before.
Okay, so 35 is this obscure Japanese
Now can be
horror
alone with
title
my
called
beloved
Misfortune,
quadruple
a
A
story of
quiz.
suspicious friendships.
So maybe
which
this is a horror
um,
visual novel.
Yeah, this is
Certainly
obscure
done
because it's a Japan-only title, but it got a fan translation, so that's what I'm playing here. First of all, the characters look really creepy. If you look at the character models, they all look really creepy to begin with. They're supposed to be kids. Right?
Nope.
They're supposed to be kids, and the kids actually honestly look really creepy to me
Oh
already.
shit! What the hell?
Yeah, the
Professor,
creepy
yeah, why is he at the school?
things
What's he
about this
doing
game,
with
like
me?
every character model looks so insanely creepy with the giant bulging eyes and like the two little slits for the nose, and like, yeah, it's like look at this. Even like this pig character, like one of the students got turned into a pig, I guess,
Wow,
got
that's creepy. That's
experimented
some
on
kind
and
of-
turned into a pig, and then like this
What the hell was that?
boy screaming in horror,
It's-
like
it
even
looks
he
like a
looks like
pig.
terrible, right? Yeah, like even the appearance of these kids look really terrible to begin with, and yeah, everything's just really creepy.
Okay, what? Okay, what's so creepy?
Oh my god,
What is that?
What is this, right? Yeah, Japanese horror is in a different level.
A doll, no eyes, nose, or mouth.
Oh my god,
shit.
it's just the
Let's
blank
get away.
dolls. It is.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and then yeah, you see that thing. You see this pig monster thing.
It really was Kyoko. Why? How could that be?
Yeah, like everything's just weird and messed up in this game. Hey, that's Japanese
Yeah.
horror for you, right? And then you play
Kinda
through the
just survived.
perspectives of each of
But she's the one who
students.
pushed me back. Why did she push me back?
Yeah, so each of these students goes into this haunted school, and then
just
they
already
take
know the
turns,
other
right?
two,
You play through the different perspectives of each of these students as they go in, and kind of the same events repeat, but in a different perspective. So anyways, this is all pretty interesting. So I did enjoy playing this one, even though it is very creepy and weird. So yeah, definitely very creepy. So in this one, I think I'm playing it from the perspective as the girl got turned into the pig. So anyways, this is definitely a very interesting one to pick up and play. Misfortune, yeah. Alright, so number 34 is Elisa. I'm playing the developer's cut in this video here. Also really cool horror adventure type of title here. The movement of your character is similar to, I would say, like Alone in the Dark or the early Resident Evil games, and definitely the graphics are similar to like an early PS1 game as well. So yeah, this just happens at the beginning of the game, but eventually you'll see like creepy stuff happening. Like look at this, what are these things, right? Like baby monsters, like monsters with baby heads on them. Like I don't know what to even call those things. And then you wake up in a house, you're dressed like Alice from Alice in Wonderland or something, like a Lolita doll basically. Yeah, and then you see some really strange, weird monsters here. Like, what is this, right? This little, like, wind-up monster doll that comes after you. Like, what is that? Yeah, and it makes it harder because you have this alone-in-the-dark style of aiming, which is, man, the controls are so bad. But, yeah, I mean, look at all the monsters on the screen. So if you guys like playing the early Resident Evil games or early Alone in the Dark games, you might like Elisa. And generally, yeah, the camera angles are fixed, right, as well. So that's kind of like also a reference to those earlier games. Yeah, this was a pretty horrifying game for me to play. Very creepy, and definitely I did feel shivers, you know, when I ran up against these monsters. I mean, yeah, this is just like these weird dolls that come after you. Anyways, I do advise playing this game. This is a fun game to play and also creepy. So definitely meets my criteria for great horror games on this list. Right, so number 33 is Coma 2B Catacomb. So this is a Korean horror game, and it's a whole series. They have 3 games. I think this is the 3rd game in the series, actually. It's called Coma 2B, despite the fact that it's actually technically the 3rd game in the series. There's a Coma 1 and 2. So I played all the Coma games. They're these side-scrolling 2D horror games. What generally happens is that this guy... late at night at school after it closes or whatever, you see some strange things happening with your classmates. Your teacher turns into this scary zombie creature, and then you have to run away from her. So yeah, that's generally the premise of the game. You gotta hide from her and stuff like that. And yeah, you play as one of the students in the school. And I liked 2B Catacomb the best. This one's my favorite out of the series, probably because it's more than just running away. Basically, the other 2 games I felt like, oh, you're just running away from the monster, from the ghoul teacher or whatever at night. So that was pretty much it to the gameplay. But this one actually has more point-and-click adventure type aspects to it. Like you just go around, you talk more to people, you investigate more, and in addition to that, you also have the horror aspects of the first 2 games as well. So yeah, you're in the Korean school here. You can see they're wearing like Korean school uniforms here, and yeah, I think this one just it immersed me the most out of all of them. You talk to your classmates, like, okay, like look at her, she starts changing and stuff, becoming more creepy. And then it's got more of the point-and-click adventure aspect to it. But then, of course, just like with the first 2 games, you get the horror aspect as well, right? So later at night, everything's dark, and then you start seeing the ghouls and the monsters come out. And that part is pretty much similar to the first 2 games. But I do like the fact that they expanded, you know, the gameplay element in Coma 2B. So Coma 2B is the favorite of my series, of the series. So yeah, and what can I say? I like the Korean school setting too. Yeah, because I used to live in Korea, and it's just you know, cool to see stuff like the classic Korean vending machines and stuff like that. You see that here as well. Yeah, some of the stuff in this game, yeah, I can kind of recognize because you can easily find it in Korea. So there's that aspect as well. But yeah, overall, it's like a point-and-click / 2D horror game, basically. And I like that combination of it. So I just have to mention it. It didn't quite make my list, but I just have to mention it. Because I did have fun playing this game. And it was, like, at times scary, but also, you know, just I enjoyed playing it. Yeah, because you do have these other adventure elements to it as well. So number 32 is Detention. So this is just like Coma. It's a 2D horror game where you run away from monsters and stuff. So you can say the gameplay is pretty similar to Coma. This one though is set in colonial era Taiwan, which means the Japanese used to colonize Taiwan back then. So this is set in that colonial era period, which is an interesting setting, and I think the art style is very interesting. It's done in this this kind of black and white style, but also tries to make it a little bit more realistic looking as well. It's not exactly like that cartoony or anything. So it really increases the horror aspect of this game. It's like they try to have this kind of more sepia style, I would say, not black and white, sepia looking style. Yeah. So I think this artistic style really helps the game, the sepia tone, and really makes it feel like you're actually in the colonial era of Taiwan, which is like the late 1800s, early 1900s, right? And yeah, otherwise you're playing as this girl.
What the heck happened to this guy?
And you're just going around this abandoned school at night, and of course you're running into like different monsters and creatures like that. So overall, yeah, it was definitely a bit terrifying for me, right? But I do love the setting, right? At this pre-colonial Taiwanese setting, and the fact that you wander around these areas at night, and then you'll see eventually the monsters and stuff come get you, and yeah, it did creep me out sometimes. Let's see, and this one is yeah, pretty much similar to the first two Coma games, I'd say, because there's not as much of the point and click adventure aspect. It really is just like kind of running away from. Yeah, okay, see, this is a little these are the little ghouls here. Yeah, so I'm running away from the ghouls here, right? Yeah, so that part, these parts are scary in this game, but overall, really do love the setting and the graphical aspect of this game. So I do think that, and it's an indie game if you guys can't tell, right? Yeah, just think that it's pretty solid for what it is. It's not like the gameplay seems simplistic, but for what it is, I think they succeeded in making it pretty decently scary. Right, so number 31 is The Last Door, which is kind of a point-and-click horror game. So yeah, it's kind of a 2D point-and-click adventure style where you had to like figure things out and you have like clues and stuff like that. But it is done in a horror style. So yeah, and I did find this game pretty creepy as well. I mean, you go into each room, you investigate stuff. But over time, some things might change, right? So you go into one room and then you come back, and later on you might find that something has changed. And yeah, I did feel like, ooh, something's going to happen if I come back to this area or that area. So I just felt like that kind of suspense. So ironically, I think for some of these old school games, like even though they're very pixelated and the graphics aren't good, ironically it gives it more like it still makes it feel like it's more scary, more creepy and terrifying, I guess, even if it's like low resolution. So it's like the resolution, sure, if it's first person or VR, it might feel more immersive, but just because it's like low fidelity graphics like this doesn't make it any less creepy, I would say. Sometimes even adds to the creepiness. So like here I'm carrying just this lamp or lantern, and yeah, even these dark areas, I did feel genuinely terrified, even if this game was like low resolution. I'll tell you area I did actually feel terrified in this game. So it's after so this room is pretty creepy with all the portraits and stuff like that. But it's after I went back into this one room.
That really creeped me out. Oh my god. It's that room full of dead crows and shit. Oh my god.
Yeah, I think it was. It was after I went back. Okay, so like after I went back to this one room I was at before, and yeah. So this really kind of creeped me out. It's like, what the heck? Right, this room looks different. It's filled with these like crows and stuff like that. What just happened, right? And I come back to this room later and it's okay. So it's just, man, stuff like that just kind of freaks me out, right? It's just like I was like, what the heck happened there? So just because it's lower fidelity, low resolution, doesn't make it any less creepy. Anyways, it still could kind of creep me out, so that's why this game belongs on this list. The Last Door. And the music really adds to that too. You guys, yeah, because hear that kind of, the piano music really does add to that. The atmosphere and vibe. But yeah, there's a reason why the classic Haunted Mansion, it's always a great setting for horror games. There's something about being in a creepy old, giant old mansion that does it, right?
It's like some
so
sort
number
of plague.
30 is Pathologic 2.
Yeah, some sort of plague is happening.
And
they're dying.
this is a horror, like RPG, adventure type of game, I would say. It's open world as well, which is, yeah, that's pretty interesting. So this is definitely, like, graphically a lot more intensive than the first two games I talked about. Man, I think at the time I recorded this, I had a really bad microphone because I didn't have my microphone with me when I was in Korea. So you can hear my voice is pretty bad in this video. So I was recording a bunch of videos when I was staying in Korea with my wife, but I didn't bring my microphone, so that's why a bunch of my videos have really bad microphone quality. But anyways, yeah, Pathologic 2 definitely has the scary aspects to this game. Like, I think you're trying to solve this, you're trying to figure out the source of this plague, and you see these plague doctors. And I think the image of plague doctors, which come from the Black Death, I think, era of Europe, yeah, they just inherently look kind of scary because they have these beak masks, these bird beak masks. I think that's what the plague doctors wore when they treated people who had the bubonic plague back then.
I know these horror games.
And then
I was playing like.
They made them like look scary like that, and oh yeah, the fact that some of these people turn into these Studio Ghibli type monsters as well.
They turn into these. You can call Studio Ghibli.
Yeah, they turn into like these Studio Ghibli type monsters. I don't know. That's kind of creepy, right? Just wandering around at night, you know, seeing these plague doctors carrying this lantern in these dark places, and these people kind of look scary to begin with, and then yeah, seeing these like Studio Ghibli type monsters, I think that was kind of creepy. Definitely. Oh no, there's another one there. Yeah, so that was definitely kind of creepy. And I think just the different models of the people, I think all the regular humans in this game look pretty creepy too. Like whether they're infected with the plague or not, they just inherently look a bit creepy. I think this scene is one where they burn this person at the stake, I think. Yeah, here. Yeah, they're burning this person at the stake. Oh my god. It's pretty horrifying. And I mean, I guess this is what happened in medieval Europe at that time, is that they burned women at the stake and they're heretics or whatever. But yeah, all that is pretty horrifying. Yeah, maybe it's just the fact that yeah, just the whole medieval Europe Black Death era of the game. Yeah, it's inherently like a creepy setting, right? So, anyways, Pathologic 2. Right, so number 29 is Crow Country, and this is an indie horror game that came out last year, and this goes back to what I said about games being lower fidelity visually can sometimes ironically feel scarier, right? Just like Faith that did, and The Last Door, and those kind of games I've talked about already. Yeah, so Crow Country tries to, like, the aesthetic of the game is like a PS1 type game. So it's got these early polygonal visuals to it. But even with that, it definitely can have its scary moments, right? So this game, you're in this abandoned amusement park, which is a setting for some games. I played the park too, which also is has that setting. But yeah, you're in this abandoned amusement park, and some creepy stuff happens in this game. Yeah, see this person dying here.
Those things, damn it.
Yeah, and then you basically go around this amusement park, and then just basically creepier and creepier stuff happens. And the visual aesthetic, I think, really does add to this game. The fact that it tries to be like a PS1 era game with the early 3D polygonal graphics and everything, ironically does help this game out in terms of being creepier and scarier. Like here, okay, there is something coming towards me in this scene, right? Yeah, here it is. Like this zombie is coming towards me, and it genuinely is kind of terrifying, right? It's like, even though it's like low polygonal visuals or whatever, it's still kind of terrifying because you're in this, you're in this like dark abandoned amusement park and everything, and yeah, there's like a lot of still creepy stuff that happens here. So
Ugh.
again, just goes to show, right?
Oh my god.
Graphics don't really have
All
anything
sorts
to
of
do
stuff's happening here and here
with
now.
how scary a game is.
2106
And
on the
ironically,
reset.
sometimes lower fidelity graphics actually make it even scarier. So
in that area, and I can't kill it without.
yeah. Crow Country.
Where's that
yeah,
ferry
it's another
anyways?
indie
Say it aloud
horror
to the
game I
ferry.
think
Where's the
I wanted
ferry?
to highlight here. It's
This one? Oh yeah.
It's pretty solid.
How do I
But yeah,
say
those of you guys who are
aloud to her?
into the abandoned amusement park setting or using the
she's not even
PS1
facing
era
the right way.
graphics,
I don't know how to
definitely should
get
check this
her
one
face
out.
the
I
right
think
way.
this one does get pretty creepy and disturbing at times.
Me of Great Fairy.
Of course, there's also some puzzles and stuff involved. But yeah, I'd say overall it's a
Me
pretty
of Great
nicely
Fairy.
done indie horror game here. Alright, so number 28 is Axis Unseen, which is a pretty recent game, and I think that's why I'm a little bit laggy in this video. It's probably because my laptop at the time couldn't really handle these graphics that well. So it's it's dropping frames and stuff. But this is another open world survival game with horror aspects, and the reason why it's horror aspects is the land that you're in is just a little bit creepy looking, I would say. Like you see these giant structures basically that are like basically bones and skeletons and stuff like that. And you're like right now I'm in this forest, but basically all the animals here, whatever world it's in, it's really they're really out to kill me, right? So like this deer or whatever, this monster deer was charging at me. But I think there was one area where I saw this Sasquatch-looking monster that was really coming towards me, and I was totally freaked out by that. Well, here I'll show you the world in this game. See these giant skeleton-looking structures in the world? Like that's, yeah. I mean, it just makes the world that much more like creepier, right? You have these giant like skeleton-looking structures around this world. So yeah, that's definitely something. And let's see if I can find that. I was running away from that monster. Yeah. Oh, what the heck? There's like a skeleton praying there. That's definitely a little bit creepy there. And then, oh man, what was this? Oh, you see these, these creepy looking statues there too. I think there's one area where I was running away from this Sasquatch looking monster. That really freaked me out. Okay, I think this is when I ran into the Sasquatch. Okay, and it genuinely creeped me out. Okay, there. Like, see this guy?
There's Bigfoot.
There's a Sasquatch-looking guy monster here, and he was really coming towards me, and I was like, holy shit. Oh, yeah, and then I guess I died from that. But anyways, yeah, you're in this like creepy-looking open world with a lot of horror aspects to it, I would say.
Yeah, I think that was like
and it generally did freak me out at times when I ran into some of these mutated monsters. So yeah, overall I think that this definitely qualifies as a horror game. So anyways, it does make my list because I was genuinely freaked out at times, you know, when you see like some of these monsters coming at me in this open world setting, surrounded by all these skeleton type structures and stuff. Alright, so 27 is Evil Within 2. And this one is, this one is basically you play as this guy who tries to like rescue his daughter or something, and his daughter was died in a fire. And yeah, you go into this machine. It's kind of like the Matrix, and they send you into these different like simulations or something, I guess. And then you have to go in to retrieve some people out of these simulations. So it's kind of like the Matrix in that sense. But when you go to retrieve people in that simulation, you run into like monsters basically, and zombies and stuff like that. So I will show you the terrifying monster in this game on my first playthrough. That yeah, it's really like a Japanese style monster. And oh yeah, here it is. So I'm running away from this monster here.
Oh god. Be extra careful now.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
This thing, I don't know what to call it. It's just it's almost like Japanese horror, you know.
Get away from that shit. Shows the knife.
Yeah, so this thing is really, really creepy. Oh man. Yeah, so whatever this thing is, it's like some kind of abomination monster. Like, wow, you can see that again actually. Yeah. So whatever that thing was really creepy, and that definitely freaked me out. Yeah, and also there's zombies in this game, just like in Resident Evil. So you have to like run away from the zombies. So yeah, so like these guys. So that sense is just like Resident Evil. You have these zombies. So anyways, Evil Within 2, sufficiently scary, I would say. Especially when it comes to the abominations. I don't find the zombies as scary because, like, well, and you know, everyone knows what zombies are. But when you see those freaky abominations and stuff, that's what kind of creeps me out. But yeah, Evil Within 2. All right, so 26 is Remothered, Tormented Fathers, and this game is. Wow, it's actually really dark. This game is basically a modern version. It plays like a modern version of Clock Tower. Clock Tower is a classic Japanese horror game, and Remothered is really kind of a tribute to that in many ways. It plays almost like a modern version of it because you're exploring this guy's mansion here, and you find out that this guy, he's kind of crazy. You know, he killed his wife and stuff, yeah, you're just gonna try to run away from him, basically. So here I'm doing some investigation, but later on, like after I found out that he was, yeah, he actually killed his wife, and he's actually pretty crazy.
His dead wife.
Then you try not to, yeah, you try not to run into him, basically. And then wow, this game is actually really dark. Yeah. So I don't know how well you guys can see the video, but it is a very dark game. So yeah, here I'm running away from this guy here. So it is a tribute to the original Clock Tower game in that sense, because in the original Clock Tower games, you're always running away from one guy, right, with a pair of scissors. But in Remothered, the guy has like this sickle instead. So you're running away from him, and there's places to hide. So you can hide in different closets and stuff like that. So yeah, many Asian horror games I find like do this kind of thing where you're trying to run away from something you can hide. Not too many ways to combat them, I would say. But this one you do have some ways to get away from them if you pick up some objects. But of course it's only like temporary escape, right? So yeah, it's decently like terrifying, I would say, like especially like he's running after you, and I'm running around his mansion, I'm trying to open doors and stuff, and like they won't open, they're locked, and like I'm trying to find these hiding spots, but if they're too close, you can't hide or anything. You really have to figure out a way to, like, you know, just get away from them. So, yeah, this part is kind of terrifying. So, anyways, Remothered I think deserves to be on this list. It is considered like a fairly scary game by many people. And this is just the first guy. There's, you know, there's also a nun, I think, that goes after you later on in the game as well. It's also pretty scary too. So,
Oh god.
yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, this is pretty terrifying for me. The fact that if he gets me, oh man. Oh, and I have to use like this object to try to temporarily get away from him. He's pretty scary. But I also wonder, you know, he's an old man. How is he so powerful? Why can't I just? I'm a young woman and I can't get away from this like old man. No, that's kind of weird. Anyways, maybe it's just a tribute, because I think the original Clock Tower game, you're running away from this old guy with the scissors, giant scissors too. Okay, so number 25 is Visage, and it's interesting because on my playthrough of this game, I didn't technically run into any monsters, but it was still really scary for me. Like, here I'm playing, I think part of someone's memories, and it's a flashback. That's why it's like this VHS tape looking aesthetic right here.
Who is this?
It's like some kind of flashback. Yeah, and then yeah, and then actually you see what happens to him later on. You see like there is some kind of demon or monster creature in this house. Yeah, this thing here.
Don't you fucking move! I swear to God.
Yeah, you see what's in the shadows here.
And he kills me. Who am I, anyways?
What?
And you see what he's shooting at, and it's just like this crazy monster creature. Yeah, that's definitely a bit scary. And then you go back to real life. And then the thing about this game is the atmosphere. So I technically didn't really even get attacked in this game, but I always felt like something was going to happen, right? It's just the atmosphere this game creates. Like I'm wandering around with like just this flat little lighter thing this is something I think Outlast and a lot of other horror games do. They give you just this light source with a limited, you know, amount of, in this case it's fuel, but you know, some other games just use like flashlight with limited batteries or whatever. They give you some kind of limited resource to light the path. And then most of the, you know, areas are dark because they wanted it to be scary. But yeah, you only have like a limited light source. You're wandering around in this huge like dark mansion. It's always got to be the haunted house types, right? But that's a classic setting for horror. And yeah, even though I technically wasn't attacked or anything, I always felt like I was going to be. Like, it's really just keeps me on my nerves, you know? And Among the Sleep did this kind of too, but the thing about Among the Sleep is I never felt as, like this game really, I think the atmosphere is just on another level. Like, Among the Sleep kind of did something similar where you're wandering around the house with like a, you know, you have a teddy bear with you actually as well. But it never felt as scary as this one. This one is just the atmosphere really got me. Like, oh man, everything's like so dark and creepy in this house. Like, you're going down right into the basement of this house, and you're looking around, and everything's so dark. You're only carrying a lighter with you, right? I always felt like something was going to be in the shadows, waiting to jump out at me. So technically, like in this playthrough, nothing happened, but man, I always felt like something was going to happen, and I was freaked out. I get goosebumps just turning the corner, you know, in this house. So I think something has to be said for that, right? That a game that scares you to the point where nothing actually attacks you, but you feel like something's going to happen, right? I think that's why this deserves to be on this list, you know? Yeah, even though there are actually no monsters in this playthrough, but yeah, you just get the feeling that something is there. And later on there will be, I'm sure. It's just I didn't play long enough. But yeah, like, you slowly open the door and you feel like something might happen, right? So I think this game just deserves to be on the list just because it gives me those creeps. You know, it really nails the atmosphere aspect of it. Alright, so number 24 is Still Wakes the Deep. And this is another horror game played from the first person perspective, and the difference is you're on this oil rig type of thing in the middle of the ocean, and something weird happens, right? They're like drilling like too deep or something, and then yeah, like something crazy happens, and you find out that there's some, well, paranormal stuff here, like yeah, I would say like maybe like alien type of thing happens here.
Oh shit.
But it is kind of scary, right? Like just playing as this like sole survivor on this mining rig, that's the type of setting is pretty cool. But then you yeah, so like here you're trying to, the rig is like collapsing and stuff. You're trying to you're trying to just save yourself and survive. But then you see like this stuff, the stuff coming from the bottom of the ocean, that they, you know, something crazy is happening. Yeah. So like this kind of stuff is, you know, that's pretty horrifying, right? You see like some kind of like creepy extraterrestrial sci-fi stuff happening here, like something coming out of the ground like that. Oh man, so that freaked me out. And then yeah, like sections like this where it's like you feel like, oh man, making this jump, for example. Oh man, yeah, I felt genuinely like pretty nervous.
Oh shit.
Pretty nervous when things like that happened. And again, like all these first-person horror games, I think would be even more immersive in VR, but just having them be first-person just makes it all the more immersive, you know.
What the?
Here I gotta like make a jump to. I gotta use the bars to jump, I think.
Monkey bars. Oh.
Yeah. But anyways, I really do like the setting. Cool. And then later on, you're in this dark area in the rig, and then there's some crazy person here. I think that was affected by whatever like sci-fi alien thing was there. And then he went crazy, and then you're trying to run away from him here in this like dark section of the rig. So this is pretty creepy area too. And you hear like screams and stuff happen because he's nuts. Yeah. So overall, I was pretty freaked out by this game too. Like the whole setting of this like oil rig in the middle of the ocean with, you know, crazy alien stuff happening, and then and yeah, dark sections of the rig and running away, and yeah, all that I think makes for a great setting and atmosphere. So Still Wakes the Deep, guys. I think it's another game that I think has the great setting and atmosphere. It really nails that. So that's why it's on this list.
Let me check.
Alright, so number 23
Name
is I
was,
Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. So this is a psychological horror point-and-click adventure game, and it's a great
Harlan
point-and-click
Ellison,
adventure, and
that's
I'll
right.
appear on that list
Harlan
as well.
Ellison,
But
wrote this book, I Have No Mouth
what's
and I Must Scream.
what's really cool is that the author of this book that this game's based on actually voiced the main evil AI of this game, which is pretty cool. So yeah, what happened is that in this game or in this book, in the future, this evil AI has basically killed off most of humanity and left only 5 survivors, and this AI tortures these 5 survivors over and over and over again for basically, you know, the rest of eternity. And yeah, you're playing one of these 5 survivors. You can choose at the beginning. And if they die, they just get reincarnated again to be tortured again. And yeah, you get to see all the sick, twisted, disturbing things that this AI does to these people, which is, you know, honestly very disturbing and very creepy. Yeah, like, you just play through all these character stories, and honestly, it is one of the creepiest and disturbing, most creepiest and disturbing psychological horror games I played, for sure. Definitely, like one of these guys, he was in his past life, right? He was like this Nazi scientist who worked for Joseph Mengele, the Angel of Death, and you know they do like horrifying experiments on all these people, including children, which is actually what Nazis actually did back in the day. And yeah, you do these kind of like just horrifying, disturbing things in this game, which is crazy. Like, you get to experience all the ways the AI tortures these people. And yeah, honestly, it is pretty sick. It's pretty disturbing. But it also makes for a very effective psychological horror game, I'd say. So yeah, in terms of being a point-and-click adventure and in terms of being a horror game, I had to put this on the list. Like, for psychological horror, this is it. Like, I don't know how you get more psychological than making the game as disturbing as you can, you know? That's basically how you do it. I mean, Sanitarium as well, that will come up later in this list, but
I'm killing those poor creatures.
yeah, man, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream is absolutely, I think, a masterclass in psychological horror. I don't know who can play this and not be disturbed by it. It truly is a one-of-a-kind in that sense.
It's the same.
Alright, so number 22 is The Cat Lady. This game has a really interesting aesthetic. So the way that the art is drawn in this game, I guess, is in itself a little bit creepy. So I don't even know how to explain this art style. It's pretty unique. It's like done in this sketch style, I guess, or she seems like it's, but in a realistic way. It's like the character's like a realistic sketch, whatever, and they're moving around, and then yeah, it's just the art style is like almost like a cutout with the background and everything. But it is pretty creepy, right? Because in this game, you're a woman who kills herself. You try to suicide, but then you find out that you didn't actually succeed because you're trapped in this area between, I guess, between living and dead. And then you see yourself like this. I'm actually seeing my own dead body here. And then you see other creepy stuff in this game. Like here I see like heads of dead animals just mounted on the gate. And then you end up meeting this woman who calls herself Death, I guess.
There's nobody there for me. I am alone.
She's basically like the Grim Reaper, I guess.
I just want to vanish.
Yeah. So yeah, the art style is really unique in this game. I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like this realistic sketch type of style. I don't know exactly what to call it, but it's almost surrealistic. Yeah, I don't know what to call it, but anyways, it's very effective. I think just the way the characters are drawn is kind of creepy. Like combined with I guess the more realistic style of the backgrounds as well. So
don't try to speak.
Yeah, so you're kind of like you get sent into different different scenarios, I guess, and you're asked to basically kill these people, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Tell me more about
and then
this,
each time it gets a little bit more creepier, I think. So yeah, you're asked to
Passed
like
away 7
put in
years
these
ago,
different scenarios
when
where
Dad
you're
first
trying to
got
essentially kill
diagnosed
these
with
other people.
cancer.
And man, oh yeah, this part I lost my arm because I put in hole and got chopped off. Yeah, like that's scary. And my arm got chopped off because I put it in this hole. Like that's, yeah. pretty creepy. Anyways, the cat lady, really unique aesthetic. I think that really is what drew me to this game, makes it kind of unique and special as well. Alright, so number 21 is Spirit Hunter Deathmark 2. And this is essentially it's a horror visual novel. And yes, there is a few of those out there. I think this one definitely you can consider a horror visual novel because you're like, you have these areas where you're in kind of first person and you're investigating around. And you're trying to look for something, and then there might be some creepy things happening, and then in other sections you walk around in the side-scrolling fashion. So it's kind of like a combination of both a side-scroller and first-person investigative aspect. Most of it is talking, so I would consider this like a visual novel type of game, but of course it has horror in it, right? The whole theme is around that. So you find out there's like some ghost inhabiting the school, and this hose is like killing this guy here. Yeah, so I mean that's definitely horrific, right? And he ties up this guy right here. You're walking around in the school, in the bathroom. Right, there's like basically spirits haunting this place. Oh man, like there's scenes like this where it's like, oh my god, what's going on, right? You got like this guy's eyeballs are coming out with the hoses, like that's really creepy and freaky, right? You have a girl that like hanged herself here when you open the door in the bathroom. That's pretty creepy. Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of creepy scenes in this game, I think. There's this one where the girl's tied up by the hose. Oh man. Yeah, so all this is like, you know, why this is a horror visual novel. Like you do look around, you investigate, and then you find out there's spirits and stuff like that that's killing people, and you see these gruesome scenes. Okay, yeah. So anyways, that's definitely pretty creepy. So anyways, that's why it makes this list, you know. It's definitely one of the scariest, like what is this thing? Definitely one of the scariest visual novels I've ever played. And like that's a scary image right there. Definitely Japanese horror, right? These abominations. Oh man. Yeah, this is just really, really freaky. So number 20 is The Insanity, and this is an indie horror game that came out pretty recently. It's played from a first-person perspective. And I have to say, a lot of these indie horror games, and this is a budget, I mean, a lot of indie games are budget, right? But I have to say they really surprised me, right? Because these budget indie horror games actually, they can be more freaky to me than the AAA horror games, to be honest. A lot of them are just done really well. So in The Insanity, you check into this hotel, but then you find out there's some really creepy stuff happening.
Good bed here. I wasn't sleeping in it.
Yeah, there's some really creepy stuff happening in this hotel. There's monsters about. You find like this. Actually, no, this guy's the priest, but there's this white lady character that's that you find.
She's crazy, right? Where's me? Oh, shit.
Yeah, like this. She just comes at you if you say the wrong thing.
She's crazy, right?
Yeah. And if you let her in, she just goes at you.
Ran towards me.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
See, this is creepy and horrifying, right? And then you have these other sequences where every day before you wake up, you have this dream where you're underwater, and then you're actually like outside of the hotel, but you're underwater, I guess. And then sometimes you're in the hotel, but then outside's underwater. Yeah. So definitely some freaky stuff. People are like dying, being killed in the hotel. There's blood and gore everywhere.
Alright, that's scary. Okay.
Yeah, and then oh shoot, that was that white lady. Eventually you meet this girl who's pretty cute, pretty cool. But yeah, and then you find out you had to save her basically because there was
4 or 5. I guess this one did.
Oh man, there was like this character out here too. This is another crazy monster person on that floor. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
See, this is the white lady again, who's really crazy. Oh man, it's terrifying. And then there's this other monster. Where is
Cage?
The monster? I had to save this.
I guess they do have cages sometimes around these things.
Yeah, so there's this other monster on this on the other floor. I think each floor has their own monster or whatever.
Right.
And then there's nowhere to hide. I couldn't figure out where to hide, I think, in this playthrough. And then this monster just came out of nowhere. Oh my god, that was horrifying.
I had nowhere to hide.
Yeah, anyways, a lot of these indie horror games are
turn on the radio,
actually
man.
really terrifying. So I recommend you guys check them out. The Insanity is really good.
Should I just leave?
Yeah. It looks like just a cheap budget game, but man, they do this stuff really well. A lot of these indie games actually I think scared me a lot more than the AAA titles did. So this one's definitely one of my favorite indie horror games that I played recently. 19 is World of Horror, another indie horror game. This one is done in the style of a 1-bit style, I think is what it's called. It's done in the style of like a 1980s Japanese game, which is really cool. This is a very interesting aesthetic, this 1-bit style here. So it's a point-and-click adventure type game, but it has horror aspects, hence why the name is called World of Horror, right? It's an RPG. Yeah, not just an adventure game. It's an RPG, but there's some weird stuff going on in this town. It has really charming graphics, I'd say. But yeah, combined with the horror aspect and the RPG aspects of this game, I think it makes it probably one of my favorite indie horror games as well.
Where's that?
Yeah, I mean, just look at this, right? What kind of creature is that? Just the way it's done. Yeah, and you do have the RPG aspects where you have the combat and everything, but man, I just feel like the aesthetic of this game is really unique. Oh, look at this zombie Shiba Inu dog here. Yeah, aesthetic is super unique in this game, the art style. Haven't really seen any other game like this.
What the heck? What's that? Your tiny key.
Yeah, you can just see, oh, this is a headless person attacking you.
There we go.
A lot of really cool enemies in this game. Yeah, so it's basically like, yeah, it's the aesthetic, art style is incredibly unique, but then combined with the horror aspects in this game and the RPG aspects, probably, yeah, it just makes it one of my favorite, not just indie horror games, it's one of my favorite indie games, actually, that I've played recently. I mean, like, look at this. It's a girl, a Japanese girl with worms coming out of her eyes, like, she's infested. Like, that's creepy, man. A lot of creepy stuff happening. And the art style just really adds to it, you know? So, it's just done really well. Anyways, I love this game, World of Horror. Anyone should check this one out if you're into indie horror RPGs. Number 18 is Alone in the Dark Remake. So this is the newest version of Alone in the Dark. There's been a few different Alone in the Dark reboots or remakes, I guess. Yeah, this is the newest one that came out just last year, 2024. And it's my favorite Alone in the Dark. Like, the thing about Alone in the Dark is, yes, it's a pioneer in the horror adventure genre. Especially in the 3D horror adventure genre, I should say. It's a pioneer in that genre. You know, came out before Resident Evil and Silent Hill did. But the first few games, the first trilogy of Alone in the Dark games, I found, yes, they were decently scary. But I found like the horror aspect didn't really come from the monsters and setting as much as the controls. Like, it's the fact that the controls were horrible in those first 3 games, which made it really hard to kill the monsters. So I think that's what really made me terrified in the first few Alone in the Dark games, was just the controls are horrible in those games. So that's more so than the monsters and atmosphere, which were done pretty well, but I felt like it's the controls in those games that really killed it. Like, man, it's so hard to defend myself from monsters in those games. But the recent Alone in the Dark game here, this one done in a more modern style, obviously graphics and everything have been upgraded. But yeah, this one, because the controls are much, much better in this one, I can now finally focus on the atmosphere and just being in this, yeah, the creepy city with the zombies in here. Now it does play like almost like a Resident Evil game, but if I'm going one game per series, which I am, usually for my ranking videos, I always pick just one entry per series. And for the Alone in the Dark series, yeah, I'll go with this one. I think this one is probably my favorite. Graphically, it's the best. Control-wise, it's probably the best as well. I played like the other Alone in the Dark reboot, the New Nightmare, I think that's the other one I played. I think this one still has the best overall feel, atmosphere, and controls. And many people didn't talk about it because it came out the same year as Alan Wake 2 did, but and like all these other horror games, Resident Evil 4 remake I think came out the same year, so it kind of got overshadowed by those. Yeah, it just, there was a lot of horror games that came out these days that were kind of like remakes. There was a System Shock remake, there was yeah, Alan Wake 2, and then there was Resident Evil 4 remake, there was Silent Hill 2 remake. Like there's all these like horror game remakes that came out these days. And I think Alone in the Dark remake kind of got lost in the shuffle here, because there is a lot of like AAA budget horror games coming out these days. But I think this is my favorite Alone in the Dark. So yeah, if you guys haven't played it, definitely give it a try. Graphically, it's up there. Control-wise, it's good. Sure, it's kind of like it's very like derivative of Resident Evil, I'd say now. But you have to remember, Alone in the Dark originally was the original. It was actually Resident Evil that was kind of inspired by, well, Sweet Home, but also Alone in the Dark as well. So anyways, this is my favorite Alone in the Dark in the series. It's the latest one that came out last year. It really kind of got overlooked in my opinion. Like, the abominations and stuff, definitely inspired by Japanese horror games. Alone in the Dark was originally, you know, Western horror game, but really got inspired by a lot of Japanese horror games, especially when you see the abominations like that. That's very Japanese horror. So number 17 is Dead Space Remake. It is a remake of the original Dead Space game, and out of all the Dead Space games in the series, all three were pretty decent, I would say. They're not like my favorite horrors or whatever, but I find all of them pretty solid. Of course, Dead Space is a fairly famous horror series, I'd say. Yeah, and out of the three, I think 2 might actually be my favorite, but
It's very much inspired by
after
Alien.
this remake came out, I think it might be the remake, because yeah, graphically it's just superior, and really keeps the same like atmosphere and everything like that. Like you still have the tense sci-fi horror atmosphere, right, of the original, except just graphically improved. And the original was a good horror game too, right? So now you have the new one. Of course, all sci-fi horror games date back to the influence of Alien and Aliens. Like those are really where the sci-fi horror aspect really comes from. Is like you really have to give credit to the movie Alien and Aliens, because those are kind of what a lot of sci-fi horror games are inspired by, right? So you're in the abandoned spaceship here, and yeah, and you find out that there's monsters on here, basically these mutated abominations running around. And yeah, what can I say? People who play Dead Space know what this is about. The remake just makes things all the more terrifying because of how much higher fidelity the graphics are. So it's, yeah, it's that much more terrifying, I guess, when the monsters look that realistic. So anyways, well, I guess graphics aren't really related to how terrifying game is. Like I said, I had some low fidelity games on here as well, but when it comes to Dead Space, for sure, having the more realistic monsters makes it more terrifying. I mean, that's, wow, look at those. It's essentially, I want to think of this game as just Resident Evil in space, but the good Resident Evils in space, not the ones that go too combat heavy. I think Resident Evil, especially 5 and 6, went way too combat heavy and strayed too far away from horror. But the original, like, horror-oriented, like more pure horror Resident Evils, which is basically 1 and 2. Yeah, this feels like Resident Evil 1 and 2 in space, which is a good thing, right? Resident Evil 1 and 2 are all-time great horror games. So you put that in space and you get Dead Space, essentially. So, what can I say? If you guys like sci-fi horror and Resident Evil, this is essentially, yeah, this is essentially like Resident Evil in space, and it's not a bad thing, right? That's why Dead Space got a lot of awards and accolades, right? It is, yeah, essentially what people like space zombies, you know, when people think of space zombies. Space abominations or zombies, whatever you want to call those things. Yeah, you think of Dead Space. And I think the remake is probably the best way to experience it. Until they get a remaster of the previous trilogy, then I would say just go for the remake. It's a pretty solid horror game. Alright, so 16 is Phantasmagoria, which is a game I've talked about in my point-and-click adventures ranking video already. It is one of my favorite point-and-click adventure games, especially for the mid-90s, but it's also one of the best horror games I've played too. So yeah, it's all like live action and stuff, and a lot of FMVs, as is kind of typical for the time. I think it was actually Sierra's most expensive game that they ever developed, and it was designed by the great Roberta Williams as well. So the thing about Phantasmagoria is it's kind of known for its kind of violent graphic content, and the setting is really kind of classic because you are starting out in this haunted house essentially, right, or the equivalent of a haunted house, and you know, so many great point and click horror games like that. Seventh Guest is another example. I also want to mention Darkseid as well. Darkseid didn't quite make my list, but that's another great psychological horror point and click. But yeah, Phantasmagoria, I think this is probably one of the best horror point and click adventure games I've played. Yeah, it is it can get very creepy. And I believe there's actually a rape scene in this game as well. So that's, yeah, it even goes there. So, you know, yeah, this game can get pretty graphic, especially in the later chapters. So, anyways, if you guys haven't played Phantasmagoria, I highly recommend it.
Player piano, I see.
Yeah, it's just a great point and click adventure game, very high budget, high production values. May seem a bit campy at times, but yeah, it's got the B horror movie vibes to it.
Here, calm down.
But you know, that's not a bad thing. You know, B horror movie vibes are not a bad thing. I think the fact is, yeah, there's definitely some weird, creepy sequences in this game, I think. So, anyways, just want to mention Phantasmagoria. This is a pretty great horror game in my opinion, especially for like the mid-90s horror point and click adventure with FMV video and everything there. Yeah, so yeah, this thing actually kind of freaked me out a bit when I this mechanized tarot card reader.
That's kind of creepy.
That's an automaton, I think. Yeah, that was a little bit creepy when I saw this in the game. Also, the other sequence in this video is, oh yeah, it's when I go to sleep in this bed. So I take a sleep in this bed, and then there's this crazy sequence that happens. Yeah, so yeah, this sequence happens, and then
Is the nightmare?
yeah, she has this nightmare, and then the bed comes alive and starts grabbing her. Yeah, this is definitely something crazy that happened.
Honey, you okay?
Yeah, so anyways, Phantasmagoria is a great game, so I highly recommend people check it out. Not just for a horror game, but for a point and click adventure game in general. 15 is Faith the Unholy Trinity. It's one of those, another one of those low resolution, low fidelity indie horror games, but it works really well. This is actually done in the Atari style, I think. Commodore 64. You were talking about maybe 1980. Yeah, it's like a Atari style, but even though it's low fidelity, just like with The Last Door, it's still pretty scary, I think. In World of Horror, it's like this, like, yeah, what the heck, man? Some crazy sound comes out with these guys whenever they come. You have the Moonlight Sonata soundtrack playing in the background. Oh shit, I can't run. And you're not allowed to run in this game. You can just only walk. You never know when this. And then once you hear this, like this creature coming at you, you suddenly hear like this low res voice, I guess, and it's just so sudden, and it just comes towards you, right? So that's what's scary about this game, I think, is even though it's low fidelity, even though it's low fidelity, it's still pretty scary, the whole vibe and everything. So I think that Faith, the Unholy Trinity, really was good at this. Yeah, it manages to give you the atmosphere, even though it's like an Atari game. Just goes to show that graphics aren't necessarily related to, you know, how terrifying a game can be. Until we find the mansion. This cloak. Yeah, so like I'm in this haunted house here, I think. A bit of Clock Tower. Yeah. Yeah, so you go into this like haunted house. Again, even though it's low fidelity, there's still some creepy stuff happening in this game. So I think eventually you do run into this spirit here, which is gonna happen. Talking about like lack of music makes it scary. Yeah, okay. And I guess this game is using this lack of music. Yeah. Yeah, this thing that happens here. See, the door opens. Oh yeah, no, actually, she just comes out from under the bed here. Oh man. She is here.
Yeah, got that.
And then you
like
have this
you,
really unsettling,
Use the rosary once.
yeah,
and then
Atari music,
twice
I guess. Yeah, I think it's just really done well.
Come here. What?
Oh.
Wait.
Yeah, and then she kills me. So I think this game just uses the low resolution graphics and music, and they do it really well. And they do it in a way that really does kind of terrify you. So just goes to show graphics don't have anything to do with how much something scares you, right? So anyways, I had to give props to the devs for that. Scaring you with an Atari level game. Oh man, that's something new I experienced. Didn't know I could be this scared by a game of this quality. Alright, so number 14 is Last Half of Darkness, the remake, which actually plays quite different from the original Last Half of Darkness. So this is actually the one I picked up was actually a copy of the original Last Half of Darkness. So the original Last Half of Darkness is an 80s point-and-click horror game. Very similar to the game Uninvited, if anyone knows that one. That's also like an 80s horror point-and-click. Yeah, so Last Half of Darkness originally was like that, which is already pretty scary, actually. That was a pretty good game I could have considered. But out of all the Last Half of Darkness games, I think this remake is definitely interesting because it takes a lot of liberties with the first game. It's supposed to be a remake, but yeah, this remake, I would say, really expanded upon the first game a lot. Added a lot of things that wasn't there in the original game. So at the beginning, when I played this game, I didn't think it was a remake at all. But maybe it is. It's just done in a very different way from the original. And then later on, as I played this game more, then I realized, wow, okay, yeah, there's definitely aspects of the original game in here. It's just they expanded it a lot. And I do like this remake. I think it's done really well. It just came out this year, so it's a fairly recent game, so the graphics are pretty good and everything. Definitely, I would say for the vibe of this game, it's definitely got like you are in this haunted mansion, right? And that's the classic setting for a lot of horror games. Okay, so here I went down to the cellar to get some flashlight batteries, because of course your flashlight runs out of batteries in this game.
There we go.
But I end up running into some monsters here, and man, I get super freaked out. Like, look, like these demons here, they just come at you. And I had no way to protect myself, because at this point in the game I didn't have any guns or any weapons for self-defense.
There's a guy there.
But I had to just run away from these demon monsters that were attacking me. And this really freaked me out, right? Yeah, they're just like coming towards me, and I have no way to defend myself. And it's super creepy. So yeah, when I went down to the cellar, man, this was a moment of terror for me, I guess.
Oh shit.
Oh man. Yeah, they just kept chasing me, I think, at this point. But yeah, later on, I do get a gun later on. I think, so I go to this one room, and then there's this weird lady that's just dancing around.
Okay.
Yeah, she's kind of just like dancing around here.
Who are you?
Guess he misses him as much as I do.
Yeah, I have no idea why she's just dancing around this haunted mansion, but anyway, she's there. Also kind of weird.
Was she in the original
there's
game?
other weird things in this game. Here they have a bunch of
here.
chairs stacked up high for no apparent reason. They just are.
What is this?
So that's a little bit creepy. Oh yeah, the girls. So this was actually in the
here's the
original
two
Last
girls.
Half of Darkness game. You see these two girls, and then
That's the
if you try to
reference
go
two
past them,
girls,
they instantly
the two
kill
little
you.
girls in the mansion. The original.
Yeah, so this is definitely a reference to the original game there. Although they did not kill me
Oh
there.
shit! What the heck? What was that?
Yeah. Other creepy stuff in this game, you have paintings with eyes following you that blink.
Blinking eyes on the
That's
paintings.
pretty creepy as well. But yeah, overall, yeah, the atmosphere of
Where
this
can I go
game, and well, the fact that there is, like monsters and and everything in this game, yeah, definitely creeped me out a lot. So I think out of all the Last Half of Darkness games, I do like the remake the best, and they really expanded upon the original game with this one, so it's pretty impressive. And I'm actually surprised because the original game didn't even
How do you get out
like
of here?
how well known is the original game anyways, right? It's not even that well known,
Gotta
so I'm
get out
surprised it even got a remake, and one that was done actually fairly well. So anyways, no, this one definitely makes my list. All right, so number 13 is Look Outside, which is a pretty recent indie horror game that came out actually this year. So it's a very recent horror game that I played. I really like this game. This is probably one of my favorite indie horror games that I played in recent memory. And I know I said that about Insanity, but yeah, Insanity and Look Outside are two standouts for me. Crow Country as well, which I've already highlighted. Yeah, so basically you're this guy, you're in this house, and then something crazy happens outside. If you look out the window, you just instantly die, by the way. So you're not supposed to look out the window. Even though the game says look outside, you're not supposed to look outside. It's an RPG game, so it's a horror-themed RPG. I can tell there's definitely a lot of influences from games like Sweet Home for the NES.
Jump Lad, Mad Wheels 97.
And Laplace's Demon, which are kind of old-school horror RPGs, so I can definitely tell there's some influences from those games. But yeah, like definitely, I felt like pretty creeped out playing this game. So like, yeah, when you're moving around, you can see like you're losing some of the light, right? There's more darkness and stuff. You follow the blood trails, and then you see these really creepy looking guys. And again, like I said, lower fidelity doesn't mean it's less scary. I mean, this is like,
oh my god, eyes coming out of his chest. What the hell?
Yeah, like this guy with an eye coming out of his chest. Like what the heck, right? Even though it's like in this pixelated type of presentation, but it's still dang scary to me, right? When I see something like that, and then some monster like this, right? This is some. Actually, this is a monster that's like one of the friendlier monsters, but you see like the actual like hostile monsters, what they look like.
Let's kill this guy first.
Really crazy. Look at this one. It's a bunch of guys with a bunch of eyeballs growing out of them. Like that's really creepy. And he yeah, he comes closer to you and stuff.
Too far to hit. I'll use my pistol then.
Yeah.
Yeah, take that eye cluster.
So that's pretty creepy. And then later on, let's see what else. You have this guy here again who's like slicing his own stomach. You have these zombie guys. This guy again. Some pretty creepy looking monsters in this game. Like what is this thing, right? This thing. Oh my god. This is some kind of crazy slime monster. And then you have this thing. Yeah, the monster designs are just kind of crazy. This guy has no face. Like, what is this? A giant eyeball?
A giant eyeball thing.
That's creepy. What about this thing? What is that? Right? Some really creepy looking monsters in this game. This thing, you just get messy. Like, what the heck? I have no idea what that is, right? Or this thing, this melted thing, this slime monster. Yeah. Oh yeah. Look at this. This is like some kind of giant mutated rat thing. Like, there's some really creepy looking monsters in this game. So props to the dev. I mean, this is wow, probably one of the creepiest horror RPGs I've ever played. So yep, this one definitely goes on my list here.
Holy shit, 73 damage, one hit.
Catherine, it's Alyssa.
Alright, so number 12 is going to be Clock Tower 2, The Struggle Within. So this is the second Clock Tower game for PS1, which is technically the third Clock Tower game overall. And yeah, I could have chose the original Clock Tower for Super Nintendo. That was a pretty creepy game too, and that was the original, one of the most influential horror games.
Yes, this would be much better.
But this time, I decided to go with Clock Tower 2 for PS1, and it's just because I do like this haunted house setting. I think this is more closer to the original Clock Tower for the Super Nintendo. So Clock Tower 1 for PS1 was a little bit of a different setting. I prefer the setting in Clock Tower 2 for PS1 better. Yeah, this has the haunted house setting that was technically the setting for Clock Tower 1, even though this house is a bit smaller. But anyways, yeah, like I love the classic haunted house setting. I think it's a great setting, and I'm glad they reused it for Clock Tower 2, The Struggle Within. This one done with 3D graphics, right? The original Clock Tower, obviously had the 2D sprites for Super Nintendo. But this one, everything's in 3D, but it's that early 3D graphics that's, it's still like, it's enough to still scare you, right? Like you guys have seen in Crow Country, right? Even early 3D graphics can still be scary if the game is done well enough. And this one, I think definitely
investigate it. Why?
Still creeped me out the same way the original did, actually, as well. Yeah.
A human torso.
This time you play as this Alyssa, who's a squirrel girl, rather than Jennifer from the original.
Am I missing something?
But yeah, I love the setting, the classic haunted house setting. I'm glad they came back to it, and this time with the early PS1 3D graphics too. But yeah, this one, same thing. I found like this one is any of the Clock Tower games actually are all pretty good in terms of the fear factor. But yeah, I like this one. Is pretty atmospheric as well.
So dark.
And let's see. I think I ran into some kind of So this samurai guy in the armor, he actually comes alive, I believe.
Now, let's see.
I mean, he looks like he would, right? And he does. Yeah, he can come alive. So I think.
Where to go now?
Where is it? Here.
I wonder if there's going to be more unlocked doors. Check it out. Let's see, that's a phone ring.
Oh, yeah, so this one, I think I got a game over here. Oh yeah, because there's some creepy possessed stuff happening when I try to open this cabinet.
Uh-oh. What's that?
Oh, okay.
What the heck's that? Game over.
Yeah, so I actually didn't get to see a monster there.
Like
It just
a bunch of dishes.
died from flying poltergeist dishes. But here, oh yeah, so here I go up to the samurai thing again. So
How creepy.
and then he actually starts coming alive,
Oh,
and he starts
shit.
coming after me. So this is like when I was like, wow, this is like running away from from Bobby the Scissors guy in the Clock Tower 1, right? Except this is now a metal suit of armor with a samurai sword coming at me.
Oh shit, let's get out, let's get out. No, I can't move.
Yeah, so this is like when it starts to get pretty scary.
You're into like a living armor or whatever.
Yeah, I just think that the setting's great. I love the classic
I
haunted
guess I'll
house
stop
setting.
here, but this is Clock Tower 2.
And compared to the original, I think the original is definitely more influential. And I really love the original Clock Tower as well. It's one of my favorite point-and-click games in general. But decided to highlight Clock Tower 2 for PS1 because I like this game as well. I liked it a lot better than Clock Tower 1 for PS1, actually. So yeah, you're just still in this classic haunted house setting, and it still gets pretty creepy. You got a lot of, creepy stuff happening. So I do think that Clock Tower 2 deserves to be on this list.
It's just a mainstay.
All right, so number 11 is Mouthwashing, which is another great indie horror game. And yeah, there's a lot of great indie horror games out there. I've already highlighted a few already, and Mouthwashing is another one. This one came out recently last year. Yeah, this one, so you're on the spaceship here. At the beginning, you're trying to get out, find out where your crewmates went and everything. You find like these pony mascot characters, which looks pretty cute at the beginning, right? He's supposed to be the mascot for this fast food chain or something like that.
I think it's a mascot, right? This Pony Express.
Yeah. But then later on, you find like, there's more of them, and like something weird's going on. Like,
why is this pony mascot blocking everything? What the heck? Where did this come from?
Yeah, so you find like there's more of them that they multiplied and stuff. So that's pretty creepy and weird. Also, the graphical style of this game is again kind of like a PS1 style graphics, I would say, as well. Although it looks a lot better than a lot of PS1 games, but it's still kind of done with that kind of fidelity, I would say. So again, using that kind of retro graphics and everything, which works really nicely for this game. I think they did a good job of that. Yeah, see the characters, they're looking kind of like the early 3D polygonal type. But it's still creepy. I mean, look at this guy, right?
Hold on.
Yeah, still looks pretty creepy to me. So this is like one of the guys that obviously suffering from some injuries, and then yeah, you look around the ship basically, trying to find a way out, trying to get the ship up and running again. This is just a great game in general, not just like a horror game. I think it's just a great game in general. So I really do recommend it. But I think this sequence, I walked towards some sun thing.
What is this thing?
And then I watched some kind of commercial.
Is this just for the game or something? But this looks pretty good. I wonder if this is an actual cartoon or they just made it for the game.
Yeah, so and then when you go into
very creepy.
This area of the game,
very creepy. No, now this way is blocked. Now this way is blocked.
And turn around
shit,
and
what the heck?
Wow,
What
and
the
then there's
shit?
like a whole bunch
The
of these
mascot.
guys coming at me, and that
Pony mascot. Oh my god.
that really freaked me out, man. Having all the pony guys like just
This
suddenly
way's
like
blocked.
I just turn around and bam, they're there.
Oh, this way's blocked.
Yeah, and then
Oh,
bam, they're there, right? All these like pony mascots just coming out.
Shit,
Like,
what the heck?
yeah, that really creeped me out. So, anyways, it's a good game. Anyone picking up indie horror games, I definitely recommend Mouthwashing. I think it's a great one. So, a lot of great indie horror
Wide
games out
open
there.
sea.
So, it's just one of them. All right, so number 10 is Soma, and Soma is a first-person survival horror game. I would say it contains aspects of sci-fi horror, basically, because like, yeah, you sit in the seat and you get transported essentially into the future. I think, kind of like this little station that you're in, and that kind of reminds me of almost like Dead Space in a sense, but it's different than Dead Space as well. So, anyways, yeah, you get transported, and you're in this like abandoned station, and I think that the atmosphere of this game really gets me. Again, it's not like this game has a lot of monsters or anything like that. It's the atmosphere. I guess this game also kind of reminds me of System Shock in a way as well. Another game that could have made this list, but unfortunately didn't. But System Shock's another one. Yeah, it kind of gives me like System Shock vibes. Some of this one, just like you do have the sci-fi horror aspect of it, right? So yeah, I think. Let's see. I'm just looking around for clues on like what's happening, what to do, right? And then I think what I noticed, the creepy thing that was happening is like there's these machines. Yeah, there's these machines that are going after me. Yeah, there's like these mech machines. Don't know exactly what they're called, but there's these mech machines in the base, and then they went crazy and they're like going after me and stuff. Oh man, black liquid's leaking out of that one. Oh yeah, so here, basically, when I'm here, this machine's coming after me, right? So I have to like try to escape it. Yeah, see, that machine's coming after me, and I'm like, holy shit, I gotta get away from that. Yeah. Oh man, and I broke that valve, and then see that thing's coming after me. Yeah, so this is pretty creepy, right? It's like you're in an abandoned station, and then you have these like mech machines that are trying to go after you. Yeah, and for some reason they went crazy, whatever. Oh no, they got me, right? Oh shit. Oh shit. Yeah. So that's definitely pretty freaky. Just like, yeah, trying to survive and run away from these corrupted mech machines that are coming after you. Yeah, so definitely gives me a bit of System Shock vibes, and maybe Alien vibes as well, although it's not really an alien coming after you. But yeah, like sci-fi horror basically. When I think of sci-fi horror games, I think System Shock is the one that's kind of like the precedent, and then Dead Space after that, of course. But this is probably more System Shock than Dead Space. Yeah, I'm just trying to get away from this machine that keeps coming towards me, and it's like going after me all the time. I mean, it is survival horror, right? You're trying to survive because you have this thing that's coming and always stalking you, right? Trying to get away from it. Anyways, I thought Soma was a nice game. Definitely creeped me out in some ways, and it's a great sci-fi horror game. Oh man, I don't know what this machine is screaming in pain, I guess. Yeah, again, kind of reminds me of like a newer version, a more modern version of System Shock in a way. Alright, so number 9 is Outlast 2. This is the sequel to Outlast, and I was already pretty creeped out by the original Outlast. Oh, there's a Shining reference right there. Yeah, I was already pretty creeped out by the original Outlast, but yeah, Outlast 2 is just adding pretty much more variety, I would say. So Outlast, in the original, you get this like this camcorder that constantly runs out of batteries, so you gotta always find batteries for it, and that's your only light source, and then you're running away from all these like creepy horror demons and stuff. So Outlast 2, I think adds a bit more variety in the setting, but keeps the same core gameplay. So you still have the shitty camcorder with the shitty batteries in it. It's always gotta be a like the batteries. I swear, man. Like this camcorder eats up batteries faster than any camcorder you'll ever meet in real life, basically. Yeah, this is like what kind of camcorder eats up batteries this quickly, right? But anyways, I know why they gotta do it, because they make you want to constantly search for more batteries in order to find a light source. Because if you don't have the camcorder, then you can't really see anymore because the darkness and everything. So, yep, basically that's what they do. The whole concept of Outlast is throw a bunch of these ghouls and zombies and mutants at you and make everything really dark, force you to have a camcorder that runs out of batteries extremely quickly. And yeah, it's that's what survival horror is, right? And I think Outlast does a good job of that. Pretty decently scary, I'd say, for most people. There's a lot of jump scares in the original and in this game. And just having the low fidelity, I think it goes back to maybe low fidelity actually creates a bit more horror. Like the fact that you have this camcorder actually ironically seems to be scarier, actually. The fact that you have this camcorder. It's like the Blair Witch Project kind of effect, I would say. You have this camcorder effect and it actually makes things, you know, feel a bit scarier, right? With the lower fidelity and everything. But anyways, yeah, Outlast 2, it's basically a similar gameplay to the first one, just it's in a more open setting, because the original, I think you were just running around in this sanitarium type of place, but this one, Outlast 2, you have a bigger, wider setting, but it's still scary. It's still like really creepy and scary. So, oh man. So yeah, I think this one just expands upon the original, you know, adds more settings, creates a more open world, essentially. And then you have these crazy cultists and stuff in addition, so yeah. Oh, damn. Oh, yeah, so if you guys like the original Outlast, I mean, if you just... Yeah, you'll like this one as well. Basically, it's similar, just more expanded, essentially. You still have the shitty camcorder. You're still running away from crazy, like horrors and people and everything. So yeah, overall, I thought the original Outlast was scary, and this one's the same. Just it's scary and also, you know, more of a different setting and more open world. So that's why Outlast 2 is makes my list here. If you guys have played the original, then yeah, this is just more of that, but in a bigger world, I guess. Right, so number 8 is Alien Isolation. So this is based on the Alien franchise. I think it's one of the best Alien games, actually. And because it truly captures the feeling of the original 1979 Ridley Scott film. You're on this abandoned spaceship, you're trying to figure out what's going on, right? You've got very creepy atmosphere. Like whenever you think of sci-fi horror, I think it all goes back to 1979 Alien. And this game really captures the feel of the original Alien. So definitely not much combat in this one. This one is definitely more it's pure survival horror almost. So not too much combat, but just focusing on exploration and survival. So yeah, I really feel like this game gets the whole aspect of the original feeling of the 1979 Alien film down really well. Like the atmosphere and everything. This game looked great when it came out back in, 2014? This is one of the best looking games of the time, I think. And definitely it is, I would say closer to the, yeah, it's slower paced compared to something like Dead Space. Dead Space is essentially like Resident Evil in space, so it's a little bit more combat focused. This game, not quite as combat focused. It really is about survival horror here. And so much of it is just about survival and trying to figure out what happened. But of course you do have, the xenomorphs and stuff in it, right? The aliens. You do have it in this game, but yeah, a lot of it's just about surviving and trying to figure out what happened. So I really do feel like this game captures the feel of the original film. And those guys who are Alien fans out there, like, yeah, I think this is probably one of the best Alien games. This is very true to the original film. So yeah, for those of you guys who are fans of the Alien franchise, yeah, this is it's a great game. Psychological or survival horror,
Yeah, it's basically you're just trying to figure out what's going on in this abandoned spaceship, and it really does create that sense of that atmosphere, right, of dread. It's like you're really trying to figure out what's going on, but a lot of it's just like darkness and trying to figure things out. But at the same time, right, there is aliens in this game that you're trying to avoid as well, and then in those parts it does get really scary. So genuinely, yeah, one of my favorite horror games. I think it was done really well, executed really well, looks great. Yeah, it just gets the atmosphere totally down of the original Alien film. So, you know, what better praise do I have for that? You know, this as an Alien film, this completely succeeds. So yeah, really gets you that kind of feeling, like despair, dread. You're stuck in this abandoned spaceship, and then you have these creatures and stuff on the spaceship, you know, that you're trying to escape from.
Again, a lot of horror games are sort of linear.
So you really
Last
just
of Us
capture that
being
feeling
kind
really well.
of really linear.
Alright, so number 7 is Alan Wake 2, which I think is a great follow-up to the original Alan Wake. This one definitely leans more into the survival horror aspect of things. You play as this FBI agent who's investigating a series of murders, and you also get to play as Alan Wake himself as well. I think he's trapped in another dimension at this time. So yeah, so either way, you get to play as 2 different characters, which is cool. And yeah, it's overall a great horror game. I think there is definitely a bit more survival horror aspects to this game compared to the original. But I think anyone who liked playing the original will like to play this one as well. This one definitely adds more onto it, a bit more investigative aspects in this one. But just gameplay overall has been expanded in this one, right? You can play as 2 different characters, and you do like more investigation and stuff. But you also have the survival horror in this one as well. So you're trying to look for, yeah, trying to investigate the mystery behind the murders and stuff, and disappearance of Alan. Yeah, so that plus the graphics are great in this game because it's definitely a more recent game. So graphically it's really nice, and let's see, show you some what happens here. You have this creepy guy here. So yeah, this is where you actually is. It becomes really survival horror in this section of the game.
Oh, now it's real horror now.
Yeah, you gotta have the darkness and then the switchable flashlight here.
Oh yeah, the safe havens. Yeah, that was the thing in Alan Wake.
Yeah, so as long as you stay under the light,
then
they won't attack you. But that's just like in the original Alan Wake. Oh yeah. So this one you have this this creepy, chubby guy.
Oh shit.
Yeah, this creepy, chubby old man
so
attacking
fast.
you. Oh my god. I think I just died there. Yeah. Oh my god. Look at that. Oh my god, what a nasty guy.
Come on, fire, fire.
He's all naked and
fire.
everything. Oh,
no,
shit.
what the heck? I can't fire for some reason. And this is up as well, or if you like.
So, yeah. This game pretty much expands upon the original Alan Wake, of course. You get to play as multiple characters. The story is expanded. You get to do more investigative type gameplay, in addition to more survival horror gameplay as well. So you kind of have just expanded gameplay in general. So yeah, overall Alan Wake 2 is great, and then of course it looks great on top of all that. So definitely recommend it to anyone who's a fan of survival horror and the original Alan Wake games. Yeah, I think this one definitely deserves to be in anyone's top 10 list. It was actually, I think, nominated for a few Game of the Year awards in 2023, which is that's you know, that's an achievement considering how many great games came out in 2023. You know, so it tells you how great this game was. All right, so number 6 is Sanitarium, one of the greatest horror point-and-click adventure games, I think. Anyone who's played this game knows that this game is an absolute masterpiece. So you start off as this guy who just wakes up in a sanitarium, but he doesn't know why, how he got here. And as you go through the story, you realize, you know, more and more what's going on. But yeah, the fact that you wake up in a sanitarium and then the people here are kind of crazy and nuts.
How could you get in trouble for that?
It came from the past.
Yeah.
It's the village.
The voice acting is pretty spot on in this game.
The doctor here.
How can I find this Dr. Morgan? I think I need
Okay,
to
so let's start off in Sanitarium. I eventually do find my way out.
The best witch doctor in
And then you're in this creepy town with only children. You you ask, you know, where are the parents? You know, why is there only children there? And not just children, they're deformed children. So yeah, it gets really, really creepy. So this is a psychological horror game. So like, there's not like combat, right, in a sense. It's just like, it's psychological horror, right? So it really just tries to freak you out with the story and what's going on here.
Johns, but you can call me Peggy.
Yeah, like this, like the children here are all deformed in some way. It's really insane.
I would never call you that.
Thank.
But you can call me Timmy.
Yeah, she like, wow. This kid's deformed as well. Of course, they're all deformed. You know, flashback here.
My name is Max.
Oh, I got a cousin named Max.
And this game is done in an isometric style as well, which really reminiscent of I want to say Planescape Torment, because that game kind of has some horror vibes as well. But yeah, a lot of the Infinity Engine games, like Baldur's Gate, yeah, Fallout 1 and 2, Planescape. Yeah, my mind just goes to Planescape Torment, because that's the isometric game I think of when I think of something with great narrative and some horror aspects. But yeah, this is a great game. Just not just a great horror point and click adventure, just a great point and click adventure in general. I think everyone who's remotely interested in psychological horror, definitely check it out here. I think there's a particularly these kids are all kind of messed up and deformed in some way, but yeah, there's like one, oh my god, like this.
My name is Max.
Oh my god, I don't know how they even came up with these kind of faces. That's horrible.
Talk about her.
You take it. Okay, and then the other kid here also looks incredibly creepy. Yeah, this kid has like two. His face is like kind of split, where he has like two mouths.
She's the best,
Like
huh?
that's. I don't know how they came up with this, but that's disturbing, right?
I don't have much patience for games.
Yeah, but anyways, as you play this game, you get to figure out more and more what's happening with the story. Why is there only kids here? Where are the parents? Why are they deformed? And it just gets creepier and creepier from there. And yeah, it really messes with your mind. And it's really a pure psychological horror adventure game. And yeah, as far as point and clicks go, I think this is one of my favorites. And I had this on my top 30 point and click adventure games too, for that reason. But as a horror game, it's also great, and that's actually ended up being in my top 10 for that. So, Sanitarium, guys, definitely check it out. Yeah. Alright, so now getting to my top 5. Number 5 is Eternal Darkness: Sanity's Requiem. This is considered to be one of the best horror games of its era, and especially on the GameCube, because the GameCube has a lot of great horror games. So yeah, it's actually kind of surprising, right? Like, Nintendo's known for this family-friendly stuff, and then on the GameCube you have like all these Resident Evils, and then you have Eternal Darkness on it. Yeah, it's definitely a pretty great horror game. I think it balances the adventure and horror aspect pretty well, because you do have the adventure aspect of you're looking for stuff, you're investigating, you're trying to figure things out, so you do have that adventure aspect of it, but at the same time you also have survival horror aspects of it as well. And this is actually a Nintendo published game, I believe. Silicon Knights developed it, but Nintendo published it. So yeah, you have the adventure aspect where you're trying to like investigate and figure things out, in addition to survival horror aspect, which is cool because yeah, I think games that are just survival horror, I feel like they have to be like, really good at it. Otherwise, if it's just a shallow, it can come across as shallow if it's not really good at the survival horror aspect. But then there's games like Eternal Darkness, which I think is good at both, balancing survival horror with a sense of adventure and investigation as well. So yeah, anyways, what's also cool about this game is that you get to travel into different time periods. So here, I think I went back into the mind of this Centurion guy, and we actually have some combat here, because I'm doing, yeah, we're doing like damage to some of these monsters here. So yeah, you get to, I guess, go into the bodies and minds of people in the past, and yeah, you get to kill some monsters there. So I think this game actually features 12 different playable characters in different time periods, which is really cool. So that's a very interesting aspect as well. And yeah, in all these time periods, you're fighting off these horror creatures and stuff like that. So yeah, overall, I think it's a pretty cool game. unique, I think, for the mechanics. You know, being able to travel into the bodies and minds of different characters in different time periods, and also balancing the adventure and survival horror aspects of this game. So yeah, overall it is a great horror game. Didn't sell very well when it came out, but now it's considered a cult classic. So if you guys haven't played Eternal Darkness, I think this game needs a re-release. I don't think it's been officially re-released yet, but I think it does need a re-release. Because considering now it's considered like a cult classic horror game. Also, this game features a sanity meter, and the sanity meter is a meter that you have that decreases whenever an enemy sees you. And as the meter goes down, which represents your reduced sanity, more and more crazy, surreal stuff will start happening, and that really reflects, you know, your character's decreased grip on reality, which I think is pretty cool. And this is a kind of an aspect that's in some other games as well, like Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Yeah, you do have some sort of sanity meter in there, which is also, I think this was the first game I think to have that kind of thing. Might have been one of the first games, anyways, which is pretty cool. Alright, so number 4 is Amnesia: The Dark Descent. This is a game that's pretty highly acclaimed for a horror game, especially... yeah, this is like 2010's game, came out in 2010, right? So I think this game is, yeah, was pretty popular. And yeah, I tried out this game and wow, it was definitely pretty creepy.
Medieval castle. This is
so you start off in this abandoned medieval castle, and one thing you'll notice is how dark this game is. Yeah, I know darkness is kind of a standard thing for horror games. They have to put darkness in to make things more creepier and everything. But man, this game, yeah, it's definitely gets pretty dark here. But just roaming around in this castle in first person. And you get like these lanterns, but they're like you gotta watch out for the amount of oil that you have, right? Because the oil lanterns, right? That's they run off of oil, and eventually you'll run out. So that's the mechanic you gotta have in survival horror games, right? It's like, yeah, if your oil runs out, then you're gonna be like pretty much in darkness. So yeah, they gotta make something like this really scarce in order to force you to have a sense of a higher sense of fear, you know.
Can I use it as a weapon? No.
So yeah, just exploring around this ancient dark castle in the darkness. Yeah, that was pretty creepy in and of itself. There's a lot of rooms to explore, and this game really is more of a psychological horror, because it's not like there's a lot of monsters and stuff in this game. There is, but it's more about the atmosphere, right? It's about exploring this dark castle and then being creeped out by the just the atmosphere in this game. So I love how atmospheric this game is, and definitely did creep me out when I was playing it. You know, every time I was walking around, I got to make sure that I had enough gas or fuel in my lantern. I gotta make sure I have enough of that, and then yeah, just being very, very careful when I'm walking towards the darker areas. And yeah, it definitely gave me, like, you know, heightened senses. You know, I had to be like really, really aware in case something comes after me. So another thing is, in Amnesia, you have a sanity meter, and this sanity meter goes down as you're in the darkness more. So the longer you stay in the darkness, the less sanity you have, and the less sanity you have, the more chance of some crazy, creepier stuff happening in this game. So yeah, that's another thing you got to keep track of. Not just the fuel in your lantern, but also your sanity meter as well.
There should be more cool.
Yeah, so let's see here. Yeah, oh man.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so yeah, basically as you lose your sanity, there's going to be more and more crazier things that you experience, more delusions and hallucinations and stuff like that, which also just serves to make this game even more of a psychological horror, you know. So yeah, I do think that this game is one of the best psychological horror games I've played. Just the fact that you don't even have to have an enemy on the screen to make me scared with this game. Just be in the darkness, you know? Be in the darkness, and then being this creepy atmosphere around you is enough to make people scared. And I think that's a sign of a great horror game, right? A horror game not having to rely on monsters, but still scaring the player, I think that's the key a key of a great horror game. So, anyways, Amnesia. Yeah, there's a reason why I think this one is pretty highly acclaimed by horror game enthusiasts. It's just a great psychological horror game and great survival horror game too, I think. Yeah, so there is survival horror game aspects, of course, but I also think it's also a psychological horror as well. Especially like having all this darkness and then making your character have a sanity meter. Yeah, so it's definitely psychological horror too. Right, so number 3 is Layers of Fear, and I'm talking about the original 2016 Layers of Fear, not the remake. There is a remake that actually was both a sequel and a remake for some reason, that came out a few years ago. But yeah, the original Layers of Fear I think is the one I still prefer. I felt like the newer one, it was way too dark, and to the point where it affected gameplay, where you couldn't really see the doors that you had to open and stuff, so I didn't really like that one as much. But the original, I think, is a great horror game. I mean, this one is pure psychological horror. There isn't like really monsters in this game per se, but it's just like the creepy stuff that happens in this game. So I guess you guys can tell, like, I'm probably more a fan of the psychological horror than just having a bunch of monsters. Yeah, so like this game really creeped me out without having any monsters actually during this playthrough, because of the well, just the creepy stuff that happens in this game. So first of all, after you discover the painter's madness in this game, you find like all these rooms that look at this room, right, with the deer's antler. The mounted deer is like impaling some kind of creepy doll. So like every room that you open leads to a different room. So basically my goal was just to find the door, open the door, and it leads to a different room. And all the rooms are yeah, they're different every time. Every time I open the door, it's a new room. Yeah, so every time you open the door, it leads to a new room where some creepy stuff happens, basically. And I'm always like shocked, basically, whenever some weird creepy stuff happens here. So I think what happened here was, oh man. So it leads to a brick wall, and then like this painting changes, and like, yeah, basically it really messes with your mind. So it's like a pure psychological horror in that sense. Yeah, all these vegetables start coming out of the picture. Oh man, like it was definitely pretty shocking to me. These kind of things happen. Man. Yeah, so it's really about just opening all the different doors, going to all these different rooms, and having some weird freaky shit happen. Man, I was definitely terrified at some moments of this game. It is truly like psychological horror, I'd say. And it made me very like disturbed sometimes, like uncomfortable, I guess. And you really, you know, that's how you know a psychological horror succeeds, right? When it's like that. Yeah, oh my god, that painting just completely changed. Devil dogs. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that just, you never know what's gonna happen, right? I think I played this record player in this bedroom. Yeah, I played this record player, and then just weird stuff starts happening after that. Yeah, like everything just starts twisting and melting, I think, after that.
Then put the two.
Wife or something? Oh man. Yeah, like the bed just looks completely like melted, basically. Everything was just, oh man, it's pretty freaky. Yeah, and this painting gets more and more horrifying. I think at the end of this playthrough, I just kept going around and around in a loop, and I couldn't figure out how to even get myself out. I felt I was going insane. Repeating now? It was just like repeating loop, and you keep going round and round, and the phone keeps ringing, but you can't pick up the phone. Man, it's madness. Anyways, this is like pure psychological horror to me. That's why Layers of Fear has to be in one of my top horror games, because it really did freak me out. Yeah, definitely a great horror game. Some voice keeps repeating in my head. Oh man, it just really messes with your mind. See, no monsters needed, it just messes with your mind. Keep hearing the phone ring, oh man. Right, so number 2 is Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Might be a surprising pick to some people. I'm only picking one game per franchise, remember? So this is actually my favorite Resident Evil game, because I think of this game as a pure horror game. Some of the Resident Evil games, I felt like they strayed away too much from the horror and too much into action, especially Resident Evil 5 and 6. But even so, even with Resident Evil 3 and 4, I felt like it was a little bit too much action for me. And yeah, Resident Evil 1 and 2, I felt like were definitely more true to the horror aspect. But even so, because Resident Evil 7 is a first-person perspective, I felt like this game is even more immersive, right? It's because it's the first person and everything. Like, whereas Resident Evil 1 and 2, I think, are great games too, and it's definitely more leaning towards the pure horror aspect, but still, it's like because you're in third person, you can see the zombies coming at you and everything. This game, because it's in first person and is not necessarily focused on monsters, it's just trying to freak you out, right? And there's not that many monsters. It's more just like the freaky stuff that happens in this game. See that? And Resident Evil Village is also good too, although that one I think went back into having more monsters again. I actually don't like games, I don't like horror games where they have way too many monsters and just throw them at you. That, to me, that's not really that goes too much away from the pure horror stuff. That goes more towards the combat stuff. But Resident Evil 7 to me, yeah, like this game is just, man, it's first person. It's the first Resident Evil game to be first person, but on top of that, I feel like they really nailed the pure horror experience with this one. Like, they didn't just focus on giving you a bunch of monsters and throwing a bunch of zombies at you. No, actually, they just give you you're in this house, right? And then you're trying to run away from this crazy girl with like madness, basically. Okay.
Ethan? Are you alright? No. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, so you're following this girl, and then, man, you find out later, like, she goes kind of crazy. Yeah, and then, like, this is what I'm talking about. This freaks me out, this kind of stuff. Oh my god. Oh.
My god, my hand.
Oh man. That's gross, cutting through my hand like that with a knife. Oh my god. Oh man, this sequence in itself is pretty terrifying, actually. Oh my god.
What's that? She turned back now?
Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about, Resident Evil 7. Why I like Resident Evil 7 the most. It's this, they don't just throw a bunch of zombies at you like in other Resident Evil games. It's pure horror, because it's just, all they need is just one girl that goes crazy, and then that's enough.
Into a zombie and then she turned back.
Yeah, that's enough to put like the terror and the fear and the dread in you, right? Rather than just throw a bunch of zombies at you. And I feel like this is it's a good aspect of this game that I really like. Like, it's not just about the combat, it's not just about shooting bullets at zombies. Like, yeah, I just got creeped out just from seeing this girl. Yeah, all they need is just this one girl, and then that's enough to freak me out more than all the other Resident Evil games, you know? Not about the amount of zombies or monsters you throw at you, but just the quality of the horror, right? The quality of the type of enemy they're putting at you, right? Like they're throwing at you here. Yeah. So anyways, this is a game I definitely, oh my god, my hand got cut off. So gruesome. Yeah, it's just the quality of the horror in this one I felt was top notch. So this is my favorite Resident Evil game, and yeah, definitely very, very top and very high on my list, Resident Evil 7. I felt like with the next one, Village, they went back a little bit too much into the throwing a bunch of monsters and stuff at you with the werewolves and stuff. But with 7, because you're stuck in this haunted house, it's more classic. I feel like you're just trying to run away from this one girl, and I think I tend to prefer these kind of games. It goes back to the Clock Tower style. Yeah, I think that's what I like. I like the Clock Tower style, where you're just stuck in a cramped environment. You're trying to run away from this one, you know, enemy. So I think that's probably my style, rather than just trying to kill a bunch of zombies. That's my preference, anyways, for horror games. Right, so my number one pick for my favorite horror game that I played on my channel so far is Silent Hill 2 Remake. This one came out last year, so it's a fairly recent game, but it's a remake of a classic horror game, which is Silent Hill 2, considered by many to be one of the greatest. And I actually did not play Silent Hill 2 originally. I think that was like PS2 era, and I did not own a PS2. But the remake has done really well. The graphics and everything have been improved, obviously, and I didn't play too many Silent Hill games, but now I realize, you know, why Silent Hill 2 is considered to be one of the greats. It's almost like the perfect balance of a psychological horror game and a survival horror. Really, it's perfectly balancing that, because like the psychological aspects being that it's the atmosphere and the mood of this game, right? You're going through this like abandoned town, and creepy stuff is happening, and you just feel so alone in this town, right? I'm just walking alone. You see all this beautiful fog actually rendered in this game. Yeah, it's this abandoned small town. You feel a sense of uneasiness. You feel just the atmosphere. It's a creepy atmosphere. You just feel like you have to be aware, right? Because there might be something coming at you. You don't know, right? So I feel like this game, I'm walking for a while. I know it's kind of slow paced for many people, just walking, but I think it really adds to this game, because it's like you're slowly walking, but you don't know what might happen, and it feels like something might happen to you, right? Because like it's just the atmosphere is so foreboding in this place, right? So that's the psychological aspect. Is you always feel like you need to be on your toes, because like this whole town looks so creepy and has that creepy vibe to it. But on the other hand, you do have a survival horror aspect to this game, because there are monsters in this game. There isn't many. Like I said, I don't like games where they just throw zombies at you. I don't like that.
Pacing in this game.
There is monsters in the game. They don't throw them at you exactly.
It took me like
but there is, and that really keeps you on your toes as well, right? Being a survival horror. So yeah, so basically it is a slow-paced game. You know, some people like who are more used to the faster Resident Evil style might not like it, but to me, this is like
box button.
Just going around, kind of investigating in the town, and yeah, just seeing like what kind of creepy stuff is happening here. That's the type of horror game that I like. Alright, so yeah, this is the type of creatures you see in Silent Hill 2. Is like, I don't know what to call it, but it's this kind of abomination creature with no arms.
Sewn up monster.
I mean, I guess you can call it some sort of creature thing. But yeah, so this is the survival horror aspect, where you do have these nasty looking things coming at you. So yes, this game does have some combat, and that's fine. I'm okay with having a bit of combat in horror games, as long as it's well balanced, as long as not too much of it. Because if it's too much, then it just becomes an action game, right? Or a hack and slash even. So yeah, I found like the Silent Hill 2 is very well balanced. You do have some combat, but it's not like the main focus of the game or anything like that. It just balances it well with the psychological aspect, the psychological horror aspect of this game. Yeah, so here I think I see some more.
The newspapers.
Yeah, see some more like these creepy monsters coming out in the open. Yeah, and this is a style I think a lot of the newer games tend to try to copy as well, which is a good thing, right? Hollow Body, Alone in the Dark remake, right? They try to copy this style, try to balance the psychological with the survival horror aspects. So yeah, I do feel like Silent Hill 2, the remake, which is now I think the best way to play the game, is kind of the perfect horror game. It's balancing the psychological horror aspect with having the survival horror aspect of you know, these creepy creatures coming at you. It's just the perfect balance. You know, it doesn't do too much combat, because then it will be an action game, but it doesn't. It's not completely totally on the psychological aspect either, where you don't have any monsters. So yeah, it's a good balance of both, I find. So anyway, Silent Hill 2 remake is my pick for my favorite horror game so far. Yeah, it's just this game is just so good at balancing the atmosphere with having a little bit of combat. You know? And yeah, this list. So anyways, that's it, guys. Let me know what you think of my horror game selections in the comment section below. And yeah, as always, thanks for watching.